recording standpoint, we are good to go.
Fucking pod!
By the way, you were completely wrong with Spark's age, Tom. Scorp. He's 19, apparently.
Yeah, no, I had that talk, yes, I think. My days are blurring together for some reason, and I don't know why.
It's probably because
It should have been yesterday. I had a game with you.
Concrete schedule.
Quarantine will do that.
Since I'm always inside all the time, quarantine hasn't actually been that different for me.
It's really weird. I'm typically out inside all the time myself, but there are typically 2 days per week where I will go out and do things. Saturday I typically go out with my father and have some dinner, and Sunday I typically go to the mall and reserve that as my shopping trip. But with quarantine, that schedule has gone completely out the fucking window, because who wants to go to the mall during a pandemic? I also got very fed up that my profile picture was just a weird random design, so I decided to inquire about how to change my profile picture, and you now all get to stare at Thorgrim's beautiful mug the entire time.
Hey, what are you talking about?
It's on Roll20, how yeah.
You know, I completely blocked out the whole thing with the icon. I completely forgot that was even a thing.
I actually didn't know it was a thing until I inquired with my other group, and now I actually know how to do it.
Should I bother attempting to do the same? I wonder. What is that?
Don't worry about it.
Is that parrot?
No.
Sounds like a parrot.
Gross.
That was not a parrot. If you enjoy frantic and fast-paced blow-up...
Can't hear you if you're talking, Chaos. We're not just ignoring you.
Yeah, no, we can't hear a word you've been saying if you've been saying anything. Diablo is basically just frantic, it's kind of like if Dynasty Warriors was an RPG. There's a lot of mob clearing, a lot of, just flashy explosions, a lot of really, really big, completely screen clearing moves.
What, Diablo?
Yeah. Especially the wizard. The wizard is notorious for, actually, the sorcerer technically, that is notorious for, dropping meteors and summoning dragons and.
And it's like multiplayer, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. There is a multiplayer mode.
Sounds fun. Maybe I'll take a look at it sometime.
I would wholeheartedly recommend it.
Could make a video out of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it would be hilarious to watch you just walk in and just be like, "Ah, bum 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 bum."
I did a while ago. I tried to record a Valheim video, and it was very interesting. I accidentally walked face first into a troll.
Wait, hush. Yeah, say something. Never mind. Continue your story.
I accidentally walked face first into a troll, and I almost died in the first 15 minutes, and it was a hardcore run. Granted, my other hardcore runs in Minecraft all ended in under 30 minutes of video, so yeah.
Oh, well, that's not much of a video then, is it?
Kinda. I was able to stretch it out enough that was entertaining, because while what was it? The first Minecraft run I did, I lasted, like, over 15 days before I underestimated the Enderman and got my shit wrecked. And the second time, I was mining after clearing a place of zombies, and the creeper managed to sneak up on me and insta-kill me, even though I was wearing full iron armor. Yikes.
Hello, kaboom!
More or less.
Speaking of tentacles, did you know that D&D has a huge tentacle that is labeled as a beast?
Really
Yes,
nice
it
attempt. Really nice attempt at a segue there, but
Oh no, it's a segue for those of us who have access to the server.
But in answer to your question, yes, I did know that. It is technically a tentacle of the Kraken.
Release the
It is
Kraken.
my favorite moon druid thing to turn into. Purely because hentai joke.
I mean,
It's also why I love Hunger of Hadar and Havard's Black Tentacles.
the unfortunate thing for you is you will never be able to turn into the tentacle as long as I am DMing it, as the tentacle is a piece of the Kraken.
So you would turn into a Kraken.
no, just
No.
he wouldn't turn into
Kraken is
anything.
a monster. Hold on. Doop. Derp. Derpity. Derp. 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 Where's the agent? Agent. J. Okay, it's not here. I guess we'll type in tentacle first. Oh, it's called the enormous tentacle. From, which shades from the Orrery of the Wanderer. According to this, it's in a room. This isn't even part of a fucking Kraken, according to what I'm saying. This just looks like slime.
That's odd.
Yeah,
Chaos.
this is the official art of it. It's
Okay.
giant slime.
Chaos, you there, bud?
Nah, he just left.
Oof.
It's just a big old slimy tendril. Okay, so apparently this tentacle can see. As it took me a little bit to figure out again, but blind sight on creatures, if it doesn't say it can't see outside of that range, they can see outside of the range. There are eyeballs somewhere on this tentacle. And that terrifies me.
That's the part that terrifies you?
Yes, because it can look at my inside.
Many things can look at your insides.
Just need
And?
X-ray vision.
Or a knife.
I mean, that's the messy way.
Okay, well then it can't look at my insides while it's inside of me.
Many
It
things can
has
do that.
blind sight, so it can.
A snake can look at your insides while inside of you.
Not without blind sight.
Why would I put a snake in my ass?
Why would you put a tentacle in your ass?
Why wouldn't I put a tentacle in my
Then
ass?
why wouldn't you put a snake in your ass?
Because a snake isn't a tentacle. A snake is willing to bite me.
And a tentacle isn't,
A tentacle doesn't have mouth.
as far as you know.
Just you had to honestly just have heard what I heard. I was trying to hear what you guys. It was not just robotic. It was like I was hearing you guys out of order, speaking out of order. It was so fucking weird.
That is strange.
Never
Never heard of that before.
role player.
Then there's not.
They can send messages.
If you're gonna speak to yourself, can you not interrupt conversations while you do get score?
Oh, sorry, I have to do admin shit. Because apparently I'm the only fucking admin in this server who knows how to do anything.
Wow, Sport being responsible and upset because of it.
Imagine
I don't
that.
want to be the responsible one.
We all gotta grow up someday.
I don't want.
C'est la
Maybe
vie.
want some bottle.
Life is life.
Yeah, well, life can suck my morphic dick.
It's not only has it been doing so, it's been biting it off the entire time.
Kinky.
Also, Scorp, you might want to get on to Roll20 so we can start.
Yes.
Oh shit, am I not there?
No.
Oh,
Nope.
that's
No.
why I have my campaign open.
You
How do I do
dumbass.
that?
I swear, as these campaigns have gone forward, the conversations we have before it actually begins are becoming stranger and stranger.
I'm saying it's probably gonna be mostly trying to nail Sarday.
Why is that? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
you did get dicked down by 6 dicks.
I mean, Tauntaun also got dicked down.
Yeah, but it was dicked down by 2 dicks, not 6. 2
Well,
is...
Also assume that I didn't make 4.
You're gonna dick down
Well-
yourself with more dicks?
Yes!
Bruh.
Well,
I
Nail
can
Sarday's
grow
up
all
to
the
you.
parts I need. And also don't have to worry about birth control.
Can you even
Actually,
get
that's a good question. Is birth control a thing?
That is a good question. I would assume contraceptives are a thing. The earliest one was just sheep gut.
Yeah. As gross as that is.
Hey, it's effective.
When you don't want a kid, you find a way.
That's a world detail for another time. Let's get started.
I will be right back though because I may have pooped up.
Mother of... Jordan, what do we do?
I mean, we're gonna continue as if he didn't say that.
Alright.
Well, just start with Nail Sarday, as she's the only one who's not indisposed right now.
That's true. She has awoken and discovered that Hubert is mega strong.
Well, wouldn't say mega strong, but stronger than
Mega
he was
strong.
yesterday.
Turbo Hubert. Must protect.
So, the others have not returned to the inn yet, yes?
Well, technically speaking, no. I'll just leave it at that.
She raises an eyebrow to this, but doesn't press any further. Very well. Let's go eat breakfast, and then, hopefully, the people Nyla wished to call would have arrived. Would it be possible for you to send a message to the others telling them of the situation?
I'm certain they could find us at the bar. We have no need to tell them where to meet. They know where we all rendezvous after all.
Fair enough. I suppose if we meet them there, I'll explain what's going on at the castle then.
So, you head off to the beer?
Yep.
Okay.
Levia
The
Croc.
burr.
Ah,
The fancy frou-frou French restaurants. That's also a bar.
We.
Oh,
Oh.
so. You arrive at the bar.
Alright. So she will order her usual breakfast, which is just an omelet.
Do I have 2 of you? There shouldn't be 2 of you. You need to go. On thought.
There's no way to talk to your other.
Don't even start.
Oh, I'll start alright. I mean, I started last night, so.
Bruh.
Alright.
bruh.
So, after a few minutes, you and Hubert are served, and you hear footsteps as you look over, and you see a very disheveled looking Thorgrim walking beside his master, if I can get my words out, his master Ornyx, who doesn't seem to be bothered at all. He's just happy-go-lucky, chatting, almost as if he's chatting Thorgrim's ear off.
Oh, I thought you said Chad-ing. He's a Chad.
Whatever works.
Thorgrim will, almost heedless of Master Ornyx's constant talking, trudge almost zombie-like down the steps to
Up
his
the
usual
steps.
table.
Nail Sarday just watches him and then looks over to Hubert and has the expression of what the heck happened to him?
I assume he didn't sleep last night.
Training complete! head to table.
Thorgrim, you didn't get any sleep, did you?
Absolutely not.
Well, if you need to rest, let us know.
I think I will need to rest.
Yes. Well, I suppose you should save your decision till later. I'm going to be doing something important in the castle, and you may want to tag along. It involves the puppeteer and his cult's plans.
As soon as you say the word puppeteer, Thorgrim's head shoots up, and he just stares at you. And he looks like all the sleep and all the fatigue just drains from his face.
Huh. Well, like I said, I'll explain further when Tauntaun and Jubilee arrive. If they arrive, that is.
Alright, and he'll turn his head to look at Master Ornex, and he will say, well, I at least know what we're doing for the short term. Did you want to tag along, or would you rather sit here and drink?
Well, I'm going to make sure I have a full belly. I won't boggle you down. You need to have free time after all.
Very well. I think what will end up happening is I'm going to go to the castle with Jubilee, or with Adelsarday and Hubert. Sorry, I'm very tired. And then once that business is concluded, I'm going to go to my room and I'm going to collapse because I am extremely tired because you pushed me through the entire night.
And you act like that was a bad thing.
I never said it was a bad thing. I appreciate it immensely, more than you could ever possibly know at table.
Around this time, Jubilee will probably be showing up humming happily to herself. I don't know if she's alone or not, but
You can see on the map.
I put myself there.
Oh.
It's up to DM whether I showed up here alone.
It's up to me whether you're awake or not. And it will depend on what you told the person accompanying you, after all.
Right, I was meaning to message you about that, but I was very work stuff.
You can send me a quick message.
Alright.
Hold 20 to tell me whether you want subtlety or not.
My accent. Okay, let's see. Oh, I think my computer Discord's working again. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can switch.
Right.
With his head on, face first on the table, Thorgrim will eventually pipe up. He'll say, should I apply moderation to all things, or just my anger?
For now, it's probably good just for your anger. I don't know how well you would be able to handle moderating everything, after all.
I see. The training that we underwent, it sank into my bones, into my very core, but my brain barely remembers any of it. It is almost as if I was moving upon my own whims and not because my brain willed it to. It's strange. I remember your teachings. I remember your words echoing in my head, but I don't remember actually doing anything.
That's not necessarily a problem. After all, reactions and instincts are faster than the mind. So, if you were acting upon instinct, well, it means that your body is learning. whether or not you have the will to manage to suppress your anger, he says, and he looks to you mostly due to your reaction to the name that you heard. So long as you don't go overboard, I think it will be alright.
It will be a long and difficult road, Master, but I believe within time I will learn to control my anger to the point where his presence will not bother me. But I fear that it will be a strong battle of my will versus the traumatic experience that I still have replaying in my head to this very day.
I understand that.
It will be a constant conflict, and I apologize if your teachings do not hold for one instance or another. But within time, I should be alright.
Excuse me.
I might need another training session or two, but you know.
Fun.
Oh, he's probably reading the message I sent.
Uno momento, señor.
Well, in the meantime...
Oh boy,
So-
there's thunder and lightning.
Oh no,
Yeah, it should be fine. And if it's not, I'll just die suddenly, and that'll be okay.
that just means that
What?
can mean only one thing. Honk.
Yay.
Alright, so after a while, you'll all begin hearing a humming as Jubilee begins walking up with a very familiar kobold.
Oh. That's not. That's not.
Sorry, I just saw what you typed.
Yep.
Corpo, you're talking about what Thorgrim said, right?
Omelette de fromage? Yeah.
You know what that is, right?
Nope.
Cheese omelet.
It's literally a cheese omelet. It's French for cheese omelet, you dipshit.
I was
Hey,
a
I don't
90s kid.
Eat
That was.
bread.
I was a 90s kid. That was my shit.
See,
Yeah.
see, I do not understand French, but I can fake my way into sounding like I do.
Clearly you can't, considering you failed the basic test just now.
Not everybody watched Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, no, I stared at paint drawing on a wall.
But it's been memed enough that you would look it up.
Yeah.
You failed the Tim test.
You only need to know one sentence in French. Je ne sais pas français. I don't speak French.
That is not correct.
Zojin from the future here to tell you that I was completely wrong. The way how you properly say I don't speak French in French is je ne parle pas français. With how I said it, it roughly translates to I do not speak it is French.
You're a fucking idiot.
Anyway,
So I'm approaching the bar.
yeah, Edo just watches Jubilee walking up with Ito,
With Edo.
and then just like goes back to eating. Doesn't seem like surprised or judgmental or anything.
As they go by,
Oh.
they're sharing small talk. Edo currently talking about the weather, also where he comes from. Nothing too major.
And Jubilee is listening intently.
Jubilee,
Huh? Huh? Oh, hi.
over here if you please.
Thorgrim, when Jubilee comes in with Edo, will explain to Master Ornex who both characters are.
Ornix will look over Jubilee and then look to the kobold. Sniffs once before nodding.
He knows. Alright, I'll be over there in a moment, guys. Turns back there. Looks like my friends need me.
Alright, it's okay. If you got time, I'll meet you at the bar. If not, I'll see you later.
And I'd love to do this again.
He just gives
She'll
you a
give
very
kiss right on
excited.
the forehead.
He just continues smiling before moving to the bar, waving to you as he goes.
Before he walks away, she'll just whisper something in his ear, which for the sake of not getting someone angry, I will not say out loud.
Say
I'll
it.
type it to you.
Get who angry?
I'll type it.
Seduce the kobold. Seduce me.
I am very curious what you're about to type.
Seduce me!
I'm not typing. Only the DM will find out, apparently.
Have you mastered the power of the /W?
Either that or you're sending it to me in Discord.
Discord's just the easier version.
Discord is easy mode. Learning commands is hard mode, but it's so worth it.
Damn it, spacebar.
Granted, there's also the fact that you can make fake public
God
roll,
damn it.
and I love it.
God fucking space. My spacebar's getting weird now.
Because I do that, and
There.
then do a quick follow-up whisper roll.
And then she'll just join her friends.
Hello, Jubilee.
Hello.
Jubilee, as you get close to Hubert, you also suddenly feel something wash over you, almost as if protecting you.
She was probably looking to Echo as he walked away to see his reaction to what I said, but that to Hubert was like, "What the heck is that?"
What was that noise?
No, that's a different character for me. What's going on, guys? Why do I feel this weird sensation?
Hubert has grown stronger due to his experiences at the Fight Club.
Oh. So, what exactly is this?
I believe it is an aura I generate that will help protect you all.
Oh, wow. That's pretty neat. It's gonna be pretty hard when you're going into bed, though.
Thorgrim
nothing
actually kind of turns his nose to this and lets out sort of a very Ornex-like, snort. And he'll look at Hubert and he'll simply say, "But I thought I was the one who was supposed to be protected."
I did not ask for this. Just simply manifested. If nothing else, with you and I fighting side by side, should we become subject to something we need to dodge, I will make sure that you don't absolutely get throttled, I suppose.
Thorgrim will think about that for a moment, and he'll put his elbows on the table and he'll look at Ornex for a moment, and just sort of, almost like he's searching for something on Ornex's face, and he will nod after a moment, and he'll say, "Hubert, I think, can I ask you a favor?"
It depends on your favor.
Well, since you and Adel Sarday and I were privy to some sort of, I guess it's
Hello?
Oh, so that cut off for you too. I thought that was just me. Matt?
It says he's still talking.
I think his
Matt?
His
internet.
Discord may have died. Or the
Yeah.
auto updater.
Yeah, I think his
Well,
internet did a
When
die.
I Whenever I do that, it usually you just leave and rejoin. Uh-oh, hold on. Okay, I just saw my bars go weird. My bars are going weird on Discord.
I'm gay.
At this point, Tauntaun and Boy Band begin walking up as... Gotta check the fucking notes, because I can never remember who the fuck's who.
Where's Pattison?
That is a fire warning
That's
shot.
Geo, that's...
I will
think
get to...
nickname is Jules.
I will get to Patterson in a minute.
Come on.
At the present moment, he is not my concern.
Why did I have to give them such confusing names?
Yeah, I agree.
You.
So, Jack looks just utterly done with their bullshit, whereas Julian and Geo are talking in not common is the way I'm going to say this, about something, and both of them seem very enthusiastic about the topic.
What language is it?
Are they speaking in Infernal?
Orcish.
Orcish, huh?
Damn it. Okay.
Does Tauntaun know Orcish? I don't think he do.
I don't know.
No, he does not.
And you also can't understand what they're saying.
Nope.
He can speak the Common Man, Eldritch Horror, Drow, and Mine.
You
I just
cannot
speak
speak.
demon.
You cannot speak Drow. Drow is elf. You do not speak elf.
I speak Undercommon.
That is not Drow.
Not Drow.
It's
While
the,
Drow,
it's a
while
trope.
While Drow can speak it, that is not their language.
What is uncommon language? Think about it.
I think in base 5e, it's just a trade language.
Undercommon is the language of people who live in the Underdark. It's essentially... It's the common of the underground, because there are Duragar, Drow, and a bunch of other things that live down in the Underdark, and Undercommon is the language they can use to actually talk to one another.
So it's American here.
Sort of.
Or me here?
My internet has been resurrected.
Excellent.
Hey, it didn't take 3 days. It's not cheap.
I should have mentioned this before the session started, but my internet has been really fucky the past few days.
Duly noted.
No. That
So-
was me 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly like you 2 weeks ago, actually, I guess. So, Cliff Notes version. Hubert, Thorgrim, train with me, tag team, let's go.
Oh,
Not like-
okay.
No, not now, but like at some point.
Very well. I was about to say you do not look in good condition for a sparring match.
No, I am a bit ready to collapse out of this chair, actually, but when I awaken and when I am ready to go, I think you and I are due for a good sparring match once more so that we can have a more cohesive dynamic when protecting the others. Because I believe that between the two of us, the rest of the group will remain perfectly safe and free from harm.
Very
Sorry, I
well.
didn't mean to actually click that, but...
But, like I said, Tauntaun and his boy band end up coming up, and they will go to a different table as Adelsarday decided to take their usual spot.
I'm gonna leave the baby boy alone.
We're slowly forming our subgroups. It's got the boy band, the
Damn it.
fighters, and then Adelstar, Day Hubert, and Jubilee third wheeling.
The casters.
Patterson! Such a good boy.
Patterson, the boy band's bouncer.
As Patterson walks in, does he still have the disguise?
I would hope so.
I would assume so. He's not smart enough to remove it himself. He is just skeleton.
As Patterson
I am
walks by, Thorgrim will cast a rather distrustful eye towards the hobo with the sword.
Now that.
Patterson Patterson doesn't seem to pay you any mind as he goes to where Tauntaun is standing and just looks down at Tauntaun.
I mean, he's a mindless creature, so I would imagine he doesn't understand.
Bold assumption, he's got 10
concept.
intelligence.
Interesting.
He is also still just an undead, and skeletons, more specifically, that even though he has intelligence, he is not sentient.
Okay.
He's about as smart as your common bear. If
Bears are
not a little
sentient.
smarter.
He's a Pokemon.
Pokemon are sentient.
Much.
Yeah, but like, he only does things when commanded. Because he's a
I mean, to
Pokemon.
be fair, Pokemon are also living bioweapons, and they keep giving them to 10-year-olds, and somehow the world is still fine.
The adults that mess things up in that series.
Yeah,
Usually.
although there is surprisingly very few adults that aren't Jenny or Joy.
DM, question.
Yo,
Do I need to, like, actually roll saves to avoid, like, falling asleep on the spot, or...
no.
Okay.
See, exhaustion, all it's going to do is give you one level of exhaustion is just going to give you disadvantage on any skill check that you make until you get a full 8 hours of sleep. Technically
One
speaking,
long
since this is the only mechanical thing that it does to you, you can literally play it off as if you are just fine.
You can just
Okay.
be sleepy, that's all.
I'm a sleepy boy.
Alright. So, now that everyone is here, there is something that I wish to discuss. And it'll sort of like turns so she can face everyone. Tauntaun was with me during this conversation, though I'm unsure if he would remember it. I asked King Nilo for, how's it put this? Experts on alternate planes to come so that we would speak with them about the matter that happened a few days ago. Like I ended up extrapolating from what King Nilo's men were able to get from the cultists that we captured before. I believe that the creatures that we were fighting are not of this plane, and that's the hostages that were taken and were used as blood sacrifices to provide fuel needed to bring them to this plane. Again, this is only a hypothesis. I'm hoping when we speak with the experts on other planes soon, we would get a more concrete answer. They should be at Nilo's castle at some point during the day.
What kind of expert would Nilo know from other planes? I mean, I know he's been around a while, but...
I mean, he said he knew two, and if he invited one, the other one was just gonna come there anyways.
Well, guessing from the legend alone, I can think up of a couple of people, but we will have to wait and see.
I do have business with one of them.
She looks
This
you.
was one of them?
Eh? You do. Have you met one before?
Yeah, but no, I asked Nilo for help on things.
Oh.
As for something that wasn't a sexual assault?
It wouldn't have been sexual assault anyways.
I'm pretty sure you're... look, I as one who does what I do, I'm pretty sure he's not interested and you need to move on.
That doesn't mean I can't still be flirtatious.
Oh, hon, no.
He seems the
You
kind
do
of
not want to
person.
mess with a married woman's man.
He seems the kind of
Will not
person.
end well.
He seems the kind of person not to stop until directly told by the target in question.
Who's rolling history?
The person I was talking to in chat.
Who were you talking to in
Who
chat?
were you talking to?
Don't worry about it.
Roll a history.
Don't worry. Shh. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It was me, Dio.
It was
You know-
me. Oh!
It doesn't actually tell me that message was private, so I didn't know.
It'll appear yellow if it's private.
In any case, Thorgrim, you think back to it. You don't know too terribly much about the legends, except there was one soldier that was stated to have been just a mere human who landed the killing blow on the scourge of the land.
No mention of a name or anything?
His name was Logan.
I see.
Did it give a
Logan got
last
credit
name?
for that kill? What the fuck?
I mean, Logan was the one who got the killing blow.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I remembering this? Because I
See-
thought Nilo had the last hit on the dragon.
Nope.
No.
Yep.
You were supposed to do something about the Crystal Man, and then the Crystal Man just disappeared on his own. So that went all fine and dandy. But no, Logan did get that final hit.
Huh.
Thorgrim will lean back in his chair, and he'll cross one leg over the other, put his hands behind his head, and he'll say, "This is all very interesting, but I don't really know much about the planes or magic, other than my apparent ability to talk to geese. But, you know, if y'all need me for anything, I mean, I'm here to help."
Well, I feel that your presence there may be a good idea nonetheless. After all, it could provide answers to some of the questions that I am sure that you have.
I could at least... And Thorgrim will stop, and you see, like, pretty much anyone who's paying attention to his face will see his expression crack, and he'll say, "I think that place, with everyone gathered, I think that would be a good place to tell you about what happened. Because if that's going to provide any answers to what's going on, then I think you should know."
You mean you and Amber?
Yes.
Are you certain that you're ready?
No, but I'm certain that this is the best time. If I don't tell you now, I probably will never tell you.
Very
Do you
well.
want to get some drinks in you first?
No.
No? Okay.
I want my mind as clear as possible, and I want this weight lifted just a little, because I took a few days to think about it, and he looks at everybody in turn and he says, I trust you.
Smile back and say, "Well, just if us helping you lift the weight a little bit, I don't mind helping you carry it a little ways."
And he will slowly turn his head and look right into Master Ornex's eyes and say, "But I need you there as well, Master. I don't think I can do this on my own."
All right. I can be your rock for a little while longer.
Thank you, Master. Are we going now, or shall we wait for a little longer?
I see no reason to wait.
Alright. Guess it's time to visit the king again.
Thorgrim will hop off his chair.
Julie will stretch a little bit before getting up out of her chair.
Adolf Sarday will rise.
Hubert will stand, push his seat back up before clasping his arms behind his back.
Oh, right. And then Thorgrim will also push his seat back. He'll offer to do the same for Master Ornex as well, but I don't think he will accept help.
You see him stand up before just kicking the back of the chair as it spins back into place.
He just has to be extra about it.
Of course.
All right, let's go.
Done. All right. As we leave, Jubilee will also turn back, see if Edo's watching. If he is, blow him a kiss before leaving.
Edo is watching. Tauntaun, are you accompanying?
Yes, with Patterson and the rest of the boy band if they want to join.
The boy band does not wish to. The boy band does not wish to join, as they have just gotten their food. So, no.
No small army for you.
Gather round, everyone.
It's not a small army. It is at most a platoon.
This ain't a scene. It's a goddamn arms race.
If Tauntaun dies, you have no idea how appropriate that would be.
Whoa,
Hey, God, what?
that's
Yeah, you'll be losing a thought and gaining somebody that very much needs a lot of power.
Alright. So
Yes,
you
it's
all
good for you to put through college, damn it.
make your way along, and eventually you enter the castle, and you see Nilok seemingly to be talking to himself.
Oof. Oh, look, he's crazy already.
You're not serious, are you?
No, I'm not serious.
Adolsarde definitely looks a bit concerned by this.
Thorgrim will look at Master Ornex, almost like if it's okay, or if he's asking the silent okay to get King Nilo's attention.
Oi! Ornex just says suddenly before Nilo just looks up and just says, "Ah, hello. How are you all today?"
Who are you speaking to, King Nilo?
Several people.
Ah, a spell. I
Oh,
understand
It's
now.
being used as a phone.
Using your message service or whatever.
This time it was directed on me and not the other way around. But yes.
Really?
Ah, I see.
Did it have anything
I
to
am
do?
the answering machine.
Did it have anything to do with the cult?
No.
Anything
It had to do with
worry
my
about?
friends.
Oh,
Just my colleagues.
Wow, immediate downgrade from friends to colleagues.
well.
What did they do?
What didn't they do? Well,
Good question.
They know what they did.
are
I've-
these the colleagues that you told me about yesterday?
They are.
Are they on their way?
I believe so.
How long until they arrive, you think?
Not very.
I'm just waiting for Owen to just be like, now!
Right about now.
I see.
Fuck!
Come on, work with me.
Gross!
Damn it.
Shit!
I need to refresh. Hang on.
Borgrim's breakdancing in the back.
Well, that's because when I'm trying to move my token, the whole screen moves with it.
Ooh, that's bad.
Oh, you just gotta right click. It'll
One
reset
right
your
click will fix it.
draggy drag.
Well, too late. I refreshed the page. So ha.
I mean, future reference, we already knew you refreshed. You would
I
disappear.
mean, it's kind of like using a hand grenade for a mouse problem, but sure. It works, I guess.
I prefer using the SMAW for my mouse problem. I'll take away the mouse, its whole, all 73 of its children, and part of the house.
I'm gonna move over here.
Alright.
It's a weird ass flying V.
More like a flying
T.
upside down. Oh God! I don't know what this is now.
It's Tetris.
Yeah, basically.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, how can I help you all? Since you all seem to be here for a reason.
We were just waiting for your colleagues to arrive.
Well, just give it a couple of minutes. Both
Very
of them
odd.
are very equally showy.
Oh God.
In which case, I suppose I do have a question. Did you speak with the other leaders about what's occurred here already?
I did.
Oh.
They've told me of various reactions and interactions, but with various other cults. But other than that, the only other thing that I could suggest to them was trying to have a meeting of leaders and talk about the situation together.
When will this meeting be, you think?
Honestly, I don't know. It depends on the schedules of the leaders. Unfortunately, one of them is all too happy to join in at a moment's notice. And you just see Nilo just stare off blankly, almost as if he's remembering 10,000 different flirtations.
Valentine.
Yep.
Well,
The second I heard eager to join, my brain just went, it's Valentine.
And as you go to say something else, you hear the front doors boom open as if something very strong knocked it open. And you just hear from behind, boom, baby! And you turn around and you see...
It's Toby.
It is not.
No.
And you
it's
see
not.
you see what looks to be a half-dragon humanoid figure standing next to someone who seems to be trying to show off the best before the dragonoid looks over at the person flaring out, and then you just see the humanoid look to the dragon almost as if they're having a silent argument before they begin moving forward.
Oh my
Just
God.
awkward silence.
I'm getting like Trevor and Alucard vibes from the Castlevania anime.
Oh, I'm getting Team
This is
4
more
star
father and
Alucard
son. Oh dang, he didn't bring Sarah. Oh well.
And they both walk up before the humanoid, the best way to describe him is an elf, stops and looks to you all before going. Leaning over to the dragon goes, should I walk around them? Duh. Right.
Love
Hi, Nilo! He says as he proceeds to ignore everybody and go straight to Nilo.
I just love that image of Tauntaun and Ale being across from each other with their own versions of familiars. You're nailing the character perfectly, by the way.
Yeah, this just has me written all over it.
And you see the new figure very excitedly talking to Nilo, who seems happy to see an old friend, while at the same time really annoyed at seeing an old friend.
The cringe face.
Yeah, my buddy. Oh, my buddy.
Fuck.
Where's the other one?
Oh, Lunar's
After a couple of moments of talking, Nilo just shakes his head before looking to you all and says, everyone, I'd like you to meet my friend, Ale. Ale then looks to everybody and is like, oh, right, hi, I'm Ale. And says nothing else.
hello, Ale. I feel that you would not remember me.
This is Takal, he says instantly, as Takal just slowly waves. And as for what you said, absolutely not. I have no idea who you are.
She, shuts her eyes a little. Yes, I had a feeling.
Oh, I remember this one. The loud one.
The loud one with many gadgets.
Should the rest of us make history checks to figure out who the hell this person is?
If you want to.
Go history. Ooh, 21.
18.
I think I technically already tried a history check.
You tried a history check for the group, not for individual people.
So, would you allow me another one?
Of course.
Excellent. I'm probably gonna fail because I have no bonus to history, but whatever.
He is a ruthless, but forgiving DM.
Stupid, you didn't have advantage.
Yeah, I know. If I wish I did.
You begin almost having a brain blast before you swear from this door. Oh, you can't see that door. Hold on, I can fix that. Unhide areas from as your brain blast begins starting. You swear from this door. You hear a ark. And immediately you get distracted and look toward it.
Just the caveman SpongeBob face.
Yeah, Adol glances in that way, that direction.
As for Jubilee and Scorp, you both know that this Ale built a lot of magic and technology fused together. You know that Takal is one of his creations, and he was one of the fundamental factors into beating something called Calamity.
Huh.
Try Heroes of Calamity. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with something clever for the trio.
There were 4 of them. And she just like glances to Jubilee. Or did you forget?
She did forget about Logan.
No, it wasn't Logan. No, Logan's not the one I'm forgetting.
You forgot about Ominous, didn't you?
Fuck.
Nice.
How do you forget about one of the flashiest people of the group? Logan was just a simple man. Then you had the Lich.
The loud one is making it hard to remember.
The Lich, the loud one.
Oh, I like Thor's version, the Quartet of Calamity's Quell. That's a good one. I like it.
All they need now is to start a barbershop.
Oh yes, the Magitech maker himself.
Oh, you've heard about me? Oh, that makes me feel so good. See, Nilo, I told you people have heard about me. I never said they did. And you just kept telling me that nobody would like my inventions. Nobody likes your inventions.
The whole group is just standing in, just like, this King Nile's acting way different than he was before.
Adol Sarday is just like standing there, kind of semi-knowingly, but yeah.
Thorgrim standing at attention, looking at Ale and Nilo, but you can see every now and then his eyes slowly dart to the right, and he's just like,
there he is.
Yep, there's the goose.
Goose!
that motherfucking goose.
Well, I think we're owed one anyway, because we didn't see a goose for a while last episode.
Heck,
You see his eyes dart to the right.
At some point, that goose has got to get a bell.
And while you hear the bickering between Nilo and Ale, you all see the door to the throne room begin opening, and you just hear someone goes, "My God, will you two just shut up already?" And you see Nilo turn around, it's like, "I thought you enchanted it so nobody could get in there." Yeah, I enchanted it, which means I get to break that rule.
All of Nilo's past headaches in one room.
The new figure then looks to the group and goes, "What's up, Chucklefucks?"
Oh, I like him.
I don't believe we've
I'm guessing a separate history check for this one, right?
Yep. With disadvantage if you don't already have it.
Well, it didn't really matter for me.
Didn't really matter for me. Didn't matter for me at all.
Didn't matter for any of us. We all rolled shit for the first roll.
Bruh.
Who the fuck
Fatal Sarday, do you want to try?
Adel Sarday's already shown that she knows about these guys. So
Yeah,
does
but
she
you've
need
never
to?
met this one, so...
Obi's one that wasn't there at the time.
Yeah, that's true. But like,
Well,
she
we
knows
just
the
wanna go to
legend in
America.
detail. Whatever, I shall roll. History, right?
Indeed.
There we go.
Disadvantage.
Oh, oops. Alright.
Obidus didn't like the idea of going to Lesser Australia.
Oh,
Still,
There we go.
the first roll was disadvantage.
Alright,
Pretty good.
so... None of you have any idea who the man before you is. Thorgrim, you swear... Well, I'm getting to you, Adel Sarday. You're the only one who rolled high enough to know rumors. Thorgrim, you swear on your mom that the goose honking is right next to you at this point. Whereas Adel Sarday, you know this man to be Obidus. You know that he is a very powerful necromancer, and you know almost nothing else about him.
This is loud, dark man.
I don't know who he is, but I like him already.
Thorgrim is going to reach out with his right hand and just grasp the square next to him.
Careful where you're reaching.
He said the square next to him. Jubilee, you see Thorgrim just slowly reach out and like grab at the air, and during one of the grabs, you swear you hear a very soft.
What the heck was that?
Do I feel anything other than air?
You feel like you patted something, but immediately it was gone.
Oh, okay.
Jubilee just kind of walked forward to see if she could find what Thorgrim was looking for.
Thorgrim will lean discreetly to the right and try and whisper to Jubilee, I think our friend is back.
I heard.
So, are you all going to introduce yourselves, or are you just going to keep staring at my brilliance? Obi says, and he spreads his arms, and you actually see sparkles appear around him.
That doesn't look gay enough.
I'm only half gay. I'm bisexual, so.
Thorgrim will roll his eyes after being satisfied that he gave the goose some pats. And he will take a step forward and he'll go, I, Thorgrim of the Coalbeard clan, at your service, Mr.
Obidus is his name.
Obidus, yes.
Well, I was going to introduce myself, Miss Adel Sarday. Yes, my name is Obidus. My friends call me Obi. You aren't my friend yet, so please don't call me Obi.
Very well,
Pleasure to
Obidus.
meet you, Mr. Obidus. I am Jubilee, entertainer extraordinaire. Maybe you've heard of me in other regions.
He just shrugs, going, I can't say one way or the other. Maybe later. He then points to Adel Sarday. I've heard about you. You, tall fucker in the back. Who are you?
Wait, hold on. Is he talking to me or the orc?
You.
You're the tall fucker.
How tall is the orc?
Well, orcs average about 6.5 feet tall. Arnex is about 6.5
my.
feet. You said that you were like 7 feet tall.
No, I'm 6'9", because damn he fine.
You're still.
No. One more time.
You're still the tallest fucker in the room.
That I am. I am me. Who are you?
Okay.
Oh no!
I'm going to put this to you very simply. You're either going to tell me willingly, or I'm going to make you tell me willingly.
That's a bit rude. Just met.
And I'm a rude person. What's your point?
The point is that technically I don't have a name.
So what do you go by?
Generally, Tauntaun,
Cool.
depending on what shape I'm in.
I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that in a second. You're Patterson. You. I'm Ornex, but I'm not part of this group. Duly noted.
I feel like it always it was just, oh, not part of the group? Okay, you're useless and unimportant.
Hey, how did you know his name? Points at Patterson.
The same
Because
way you knew
it's-
my name, most likely.
Because it's literally the only thing going through that skeleton skull right now.
Tauntaun is going to slowly scooch Patterson behind him and out of view of Thorgrim.
Anna, oop.
Whoops.
Yes, Anna, oop.
Yeah, Thorgrim's shoulders kind of tense, and he's just like, skeleton, what?
Moving past that, it is nice to finally meet with you, Optus.
It's nice to meet with you too. I'm honestly surprised. Oh, also, who's tall, dark, and gloomy? He says, pointing. And Hubert goes, my name is Hubert, but I am unimportant.
That
Okay,
is
then.
not true. That's not true at all, Hubert.
Look, Adel Serde, if the man doesn't want to be important, let him be unimportant. It's fine.
You can say he is unimportant, but he's important to at least one person. But that's besides the point. Like I said, I am glad to have finally met with you. Truth be told, I was hoping that we would. Though, it is unfortunate that it is under these circumstances.
That is a very scary thing to hope for.
Why is that?
Okay, you don't know everything about me. That's good.
She, raises an eyebrow slowly. I am aware that you helped save countless lives. I feel that is reason enough to wish to meet with you.
If you say so.
Do you disagree?
I always disagree. With basically everybody.
Even yourself?
Well, hear me out. My husband says I'm the best man in the world, which can't be true because my husband is.
Aww. Like, Julie Lily goes, aww.
Adel Serde, actually cracks a smile at that, but she shakes her head a little and it's gone. I see.
Damn, Obi is magical.
But back to the matter at hand.
Oh yeah, hold that thought. Obi then turns to Nilo. Why am I here? Because they want to talk to you. I've already talked to them.
It was about... Sorry, continue.
Please don't be like Ale. Oh, hey Ale. What's up? And Obi will then turn back. Alright, so what you kids got?
It is about specifically the planes. Are you aware of... Actually, that's most likely a futon question. Better question. How much do you know about what's occurred in the Kingdom of Twilight in the past few days? Specifically in regards to the creatures that appeared and attacked people across the area.
Obi will just look at you for a second before looking to Nilo. Nilo will then explain to both Ale and Obi everything that's happened before Obi turns around. A lot, apparently.
Really? Very well. The reason why I asked Nilo to bring you both here is because I feel like the creatures that were brought here, well, the creatures that attacked were brought here from another plane. In fact, I have reason to believe that the people utilizing these creatures are also from another plane. I was wondering... God damn it, Jordan. I was wondering if you could use your expertise to shine any more light on the matter. There is also this, and she takes out the paper of the sigil that Hubert drew and shows it. I was wondering if you would have any more information about this as well. It is it was a sigil that was on the altar someone used to teleport in and out of the area.
Obi will walk over, take it, look at it as he walks back to the group, turns the paper over, and is like, "This is just a teleportation circle."
Really? Simple magic?
Yeah. I wouldn't say simple, because it's fairly high level, but it is a teleportation circle.
How high of a level are we speaking here?
Gotta get my book.
Teleportation circle? Isn't it like 5th level? There it is. Yeah, it's 5th
Yeah.
level.
Scale between 1 to 9, I'd say about a 5.
Alright, second question. On the same scale, how strong would someone need to be in order to teleport people between realms? Or move people between planes? My mistake.
That one's a bit more tricky. Because that requires a lot of power, depending on the method that you go about it.
What are the
For
different
example,
methods?
Well, there is pulling your soul out from yourself and forcing it to go to a different dimension, but that would be on a 9. Whereas you could just hop to another dimension if you have enough power, which would be about a 7. And with that one, you can bring, a few people with you. There's also the whole matter of a spell that my buddy here likes to use a lot, or at least he used to when he was more fun, which is Gate, which is just a portal between dimensions. But that might be a bit dangerous, and also it's also on the 9 scale.
Interesting. Well, the reason why I ask is because we gained information, like I mentioned before, that the people that are related to those orchestrating that attack claim to be from another place and were brought here. Of course, as you say, the magic needed to do so would be very powerful. I think we met the person who would be responsible for that. You may know of him. He calls himself the Puppeteer.
I know he's a hack.
A hack? How so?
Yeah. His necromancy isn't even nearly as strong as mine. I don't think anyone has necromancy as strong as you. Yeah, I gotta agree with Nyla on this one.
That's a bit besides the point. His necromancy may not be as powerful as yours, but he is still a danger, which is why I was hoping to know more about him.
Well, see, just because I know of him doesn't mean I know about him.
That's unfortunate.
That's the thing about powerful spellcasters is we have a tendency to be able to make sure you don't know much about us.
I see. But I have a suspicion that he may be the one that is pulling people between the realms. And with how you mention it, there are multiple ways that he could do so. But I have another question. This would confirm my hypothesis or not. Would it be possible to use people as a blood sacrifice to fuel pulling things between realms?
Well, you can use any blood sacrifice to fuel just about everything. So, probably.
I see. So that potentially confirms that hypothesis as well. At least we know of that much.
I mean, while I'm personally not very well versed in blood magic, you see Obi say, and he has a very big shit-eating grin the entire time he says this. I can honestly say that given enough sacrifice, you can do just about everything.
Like, she just frowns a little to this. Like in an I am uncomfortable frown. But shakes her head again, and the expression's back to neutral. I see.
Yeah, blood magic is fucked up.
Yes.
Sounds fun.
She like at this comment she actively twitches, but doesn't do much else. Right. Now, aside from that, I was wondering, King Nilo, is the cultist still within your capture?
Yes.
Obitus, would you be able to figure out the home plane of a creature? Or someone?
That's a definite maybe.
If that's the case, do you think you could attempt that with a prisoner that's been captured? We may be able to find out where he is from.
Why would that matter?
If we're able to find out which realm he is from, which plane he is from, and it is one that has been documented before, we would be able to know what to expect.
Do you plan on nuking it?
Of course not.
I still don't see the point in knowing this. You know what? I might be willing to try something.
Thank you. That's all I can ask. It's always better to know your enemy. Well, in most cases it is better.
Knowing my enemy gets interesting sometimes, Obi says.
Well, that is all that I had to ask. She turns to the others. Do you have any questions?
Thorgrim has his hands behind his back, and throughout this entire conversation of Obi mentioning who he is and what he does and what kind of magic he performs and all that other stuff, he's very nervously and very angrily playing with his hands behind his back, wringing his fingers and flexing and just trying to exercise that, don't be angry, be calm, everything's fine.
Tauntaun's just gonna reach forward and tap his shoulder and just say, "You got this, dude."
Yeah, he is not doing well.
And as you're standing there, Obi looks to you, and you can tell that he has seen this 1,000 times, and he's not bothered by it. And he just goes, "If you want to say something, you had better say it." And he was putting on a fake voice while saying this the entire time.
Thorgrim is very confused by the sudden change in accent, and he stops for a moment, purely out of just confusion and surprise. And he looks at Obitus, and then he'll look at the rest of the group, and his expression drops into that same sad, morose, deeply troubled expression, and he says, Mr. Obitus, sir, I've had very, very poor experiences with undead, so please forgive my anger. It's a deeply rooted problem that needs to be fixed.
So, I'm just going to say this. There are a lot of people who had a lot of problems with undead. A lot. And I understand where you're coming from. But I'm also going to say this. While I understand the issue, I'm not the one that did it.
No, you are not, and I recognize that, and I apologize if I upset you.
Oh, trust me, it would take a lot more than you're capable of to upset me. And you can tell he's not saying that to be in a condescending way. just based on the way he's saying that, you can tell without a roll that he has been through a lot of emotional turmoil himself. And essentially, he is saying along the lines of, there is nothing physically or emotionally you can do to match what I've been through.
Thorgrim gives a nod of understanding, and he will bow respectfully, and he'll say, "Very well, Optus, sir. I appreciate your words. Thank you." And he'll again look to the rest of his companions, and he'll say, "Should I say something? Because, I mean, one of the reasons that we're researching these cults and all of these happenings is because of a person that," and he just shuts up.
Keep going. You hear Ornex say from behind you, "Don't climb up. Finish what you started."
Nobody likes being left unsatisfied.
He'll look at King Nilo and he'll say, "Excuse me, gentlemen. Do you mind if I speak with my companions for a bit? There's something they need to hear."
Well, if you'd like to use the conference hall, I'll let you use it. It'll give me time to catch up with Obi and Ale.
All right.
And
is that the room to the right here?
No, just go into the throne room. You can meet there.
Okay, thank you.
Patterson, stay.
Excuse me.
Gross.
Do you want Ornex to follow you?
I do. I want him to be right beside me. And I would actually also like for the group to convene within the aura, because I would assume that it exudes a calming atmosphere, like it feels like a kind of the security blanket feel.
Yes.
Okay.
Tauntaun, move your character.
I'm deciding where to put myself.
That will be needed. Thorgrim will move up more. And Thorgrim will actually sit down and assume a lotus position. And put his hands on his knees. And he'll look to his master. And he'll say, "Should I just start talking?"
You should.
Okay. Well, as you know, my name is Thorgrim. I am of the Colbeard clan. My family and I, we all live in Sobania together. Myself, my son, my daughter, and my wife. Amber was my wife of nearly 100 years. And she's dead. I was a pit fighter in the Sobanian fight pits, and I fought and I earned money and fame. But I mainly did it to show that I could be strong and that I could protect others, like my family. Money didn't matter. Praise didn't matter. I just wanted to prove that I was strong. And one day when I was fighting, I stopped to, pose, because that's what you do in a fight. You want to pose for the crowd and you want to make them happy. And I saw a man in the crowd. He had a dark hood, and he had that sinister, condescending smile, and he was watching. And as I was about to put down my opponent and finish them off, a strange red mist began to radiate in the crowd. And those who breathed in the mist, they died rapidly. They began to basically rot from the inside. And basically they just fell apart, and I had to watch as dozens of my brothers and sisters, not literally, but dozens of dwarves died. And Amber was in the crowd. She was watching, and she died. But that's not the worst part. Then he raised his hands, and the dead dwarfs, they rose again. They rose as undead. All of them. He brought them back as his puppets. He looked at me as he was doing this. And Thorgrim stops, and he's got that wild expression in his eyes. He looks like he's about to just get up and run. But
He will lean down and put a hand on his shoulder.
he sits back down and he says, the man, he said to me, he said that I was smart enough to avoid becoming a puppet. And he said that my smarts he would give me a reward for them, and he ordered my wife into the pit. I had to kill her. I had to kill her again. Thorgrim just breaks.
It's just gonna hug him. It's okay.
I didn't want her to die. I had to watch her die twice. And it's all his fault.
You do not have yourself to blame in this. What you did for the second one, you gave her a mercy, a rest. Her soul can rest in peace because of you. Keep that in mind.
Ever since that day, I resolved that I would leave Sopania, that I would leave my home. I would hunt down the puppeteer for what he did to me, to my wife, to my dwarven brothers and sisters. I would hunt him down, and I would strike him down as many times as I have to avenge my Amber and avenge my dwarven brethren. I don't do this out of fear. I don't do this out of hate. I do this entirely out of love. I love my wife more than anyone else in the world. And he took that love away from me. and he must pay dearly for what he has done.
And when the time is right, he will.
I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful, but I know that you have been with me for a short time, and I consider you a family that I've never had, a second family that wasn't a bunch of dwarves, and I would protect you all of my life, but when it comes to him, when it comes to the puppeteer, I have to be the one to end it. I won't let any of you. I must end it myself. Thorger will look at the rest of the group, just gauging reaction to see just how everyone is taking what he has managed to divulge, because it was very painful for him, and you could still see the tears streaming down his face, and he knows Jubilee is supportive of him, but
Jubilee has not stopped hugging him.
Well, Adelsarde is stone-faced. Like, she is typically stoic, but now she's just utterly expressionless.
Tantan has decided to just say fuck facial muscles for the time being.
Sad.
Hubert just looks at you. He remains very quiet and doesn't say anything. Whether he just doesn't know how to comfort you or he feels silence is best, you cannot tell.
you know what? That was easier than I thought. I had expected a much more aggressive reaction from all of you. I did not expect you all to be as silent as you are. Did I say something that is wrong, or
Clearly, just poured your heart out to us.
Quiet, man. We can't hear you.
You just poured your heart out to us. Why would we be aggressive? Admittedly, I'm pretty sure some of us are still trying to process it, or your story resonates with a few of us quite closely in some regards.
you'll look up at Jubilee and he'll place his hands on her shoulders. And he smiles. And I take it you are one of those people?
Well, my story's not the same as yours, but I can understand you're in a lot of pain, and it took a lot of courage to expose that pain to us.
I just wanted to provide for my family and to make them happy.
And you did nothing wrong. Nothing you did was wrong. What he did to you was wrong. You understand that. You no more saying it was your fault. No more beating yourself up for it. No more doing this by yourself. You have us to rely on.
If there's one thing that I want out of all of this, I just wish from the very bottom of my heart that I could spend at least one more day with her. I miss her so much.
I it comes to that puppet master, just remember, when the time is right, we will all help you take him down. Clearly, he must be stopped. If he was to commit such a genocide, near genocide in a small area like you did.
I don't understand why he did what he did, but the fact is that he did it, and he must be stopped from doing it again. Because I don't believe for a second that this was a single case.
With all that we've heard about cult activity on the rise in all the countries, I don't think it was a single case either. And honestly, be worried about my father and the ill and how he's doing.
Maybe we can prevent more of these atrocities.
And as much as I don't like my mother, she says, having difficulty saying it, still do not wish her dead. So, whatever's going on in Solaria, I should, at some point, try to see if I can, to help you find this man, maybe I should resort to some old connections, as it were.
As long as it helps us but doesn't put you at a disadvantage, I wouldn't want you to extend your hand in aid and only for it to be a problem later down the line.
Unfortunately, even amongst my mother's people, there are some that are still very friendly and would be more than willing to help as long as it wasn't too drastic.
Well,
but I might have some help in the Blood Veil too. And who knows, maybe even that general that doesn't like me, maybe I can get along with her at some point.
Perhaps. And
again,
Thorgrim,
nothing that would be too dangerous for me.
As long as it doesn't hurt you, I wouldn't want you to hurt yourself on my benefit.
Trust me, I've done a lot of avoiding pain for myself, Thorgrim.
Well,
I will, and it's not while it may not be physical, at some point I will, like you, have to confront that emotional pain again.
And Thorgrim will turn to Master Ornex, and he will again assume that bowing pose and lower his head to say, "This is why I wanted to find you. I found Puppeteer. I found him, and I wanted to strike him down with everything I had. But I know I'm not strong enough, and I don't count on my own ability to be able to hold myself in check the next time I see him for all that he's done, which is why I wanted your help. Because without you, without your teachings, I would have died charging into battle with him."
Well, it definitely sounds like you would have, especially if this man is as strong as the spellcaster claims him to be. You need to think before you act.
Do.
I will not always be around, after all.
Thorgrim's expression becomes sad again at the mere thought of Ornex no longer being there to guide him. And he sighs deeply. And he will stand and turn to Hubert. And he'll turn to Adel Sarday and look at both of them, and he will say, "This is another test for us, but it is something that I believe that we can do. Which is why I would like, and he turns to Hubert, I trained with Master Ornex until break of dawn, but I feel as if training with you would also benefit me, because as the Master said, we have a good dynamic, and I think that we should lean into that, because it may aid in our very survival. I would hate to see you be harmed in ways that you were when we first met.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
Oh.
Why you say uh-oh?
He was just doing a dramatic pause.
I thought the internet died.
You see Hubert look at you and he says, I do not see any reason why we cannot train together.
And he will bow respectfully to Hubert. Thank you.
You don't see it because your head is down, but a look of almost disgust at being bowed to crosses Hubert's face before he very quickly goes back to being his usual stoic self.
Jubilee will actually have a little chuckle at that because she was paying attention. Snickers a little bit.
Well, that was my story, so maybe that sheds some light on our situation, because, quite frankly, if he's able to raise the dead in a group like that and use some mist to rapidly decay people so that they can be raised as undead, that might, I don't know, shed some light on at least how powerful he is.
It sheds that, but it begs another question.
And that is?
Why did he want to stop the other cultists from doing what he was doing?
Alright, we
Why
spoke
does
about
that interfere in his goal?
We spoke about this before. When an army strikes, they do so in either unison or at a tactical moment, not randomly. More than likely, he started his assault too early.
Right, but there have been multiple assaults in different countries.
Yes, and those either could have been strategic, or the puppeteer dealt with the people that caused them the same way that he did here. The only way we will know is if we investigate. It's why I suggested we go and check around the other countries.
Well, of course, but there's one other problem. I'm pretty sure King Nyla mentioned there were several different cults.
Yes.
Could we be experiencing another entity pulling more strings besides the Puppet Master? Someone looking to... I don't know how to put it. Use the resources of all these other cults to form some sort of coalition?
It's what I hypothesized before, yes. These are multiple different cults all working together. But you may be right, it may not be the puppeteer necessarily who is leading them. It could be part of a grand coalition, so to speak.
Because remember what the puppeteer said. The one he went after was a member of his sect. Not a member of a big group, of his personal sect. Meaning, of that cult he probably runs, but probably doesn't run any of the other ones that are doing their attacks.
Either that, or he runs a part of the coalition. He doesn't seem like he leads one cult in particular. But again, that's only hypothesizing. We will need more information before we're... And she, pauses slowly and shakes her head.
Like I said, I can pull some strings for information in 3 different areas, but
Yes.
It's a little difficult for if we're going to Sabania first, only because, like I said...
Sobania is on the other side of the continent. If it would make more sense that we go Sobania last.
Of course. Fortunately, I don't know anyone in Lunaria either, as that is the closest one. So the closest contact I would have would be in the Blood Vale, where I made a temporary home after my first one. My father.
Thorgrim actually gets a thought in his mind, and he rubs at his beard for a moment, and he looks up, and then he just sort of sighs and just shakes his head. No.
I mean, I could also send a message to my contact in Solaria to do some digging. Maybe that will help at least, and get the ball rolling. After all, this contact is not exactly in very known circles, shall we say? So he might be the best person to go to for getting info on stuff like this.
Thorgrim's gonna pipe up again, just a little sheepishly this time. And he'll raise a hand and just say, I know this is a little bit off topic, and this might be a little disrespectful to Milo, but I know that he can contact people using his magic. Do you think it'd be disrespectful if I asked him to call my kids?
I think that would be the least disrespectful thing you could do at the moment.
It's one father to another. I'm pretty sure he would not mind in the slightest.
Yes.
If anything, he would encourage you to contact your kids. I'm pretty sure they miss you.
I will definitely do that then. It's been a while. I should really tell them where I've been.
You probably should. Hubert.
Yes, my lady.
I think that we have done what we could here for now.
It'll start today. I will see to trying to get a message out to my contact in Solaria and see if we can get more information coming in.
Good. Yes, good. I will be around. Hubert, let's go. And then she starts, heading off.
Alright, so. Thorgrim, you
Yes.
get inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't even have to give it.
This is the special DM one.
No, I just had to cry.
Okay. So,
Jubilee will look to Tauntaun and see what he's up to with all this.
Tauntaun still does not have facial features right now.
Are you alright, Tauntaun?
He just gives a wavy hand.
I understand. I'll meet you guys later then. I've gotta go prepare messages. And Jubilee will make her way out then.
you have to get in line.
Hey, I was waiting until things start disappearing. So
Well, there's something going on out here.
oh,
Like, in real life or in here?
In here.
Okay.
up
So-
here.
As you all make your way out, you see
Ah!
the goose currently taking bones out of Patterson and rearranging it. And Obi, Nilo, and Ale are all standing there with crossed arms, and Obi goes, "What's with the goose? I honestly thought you made it. I didn't make it, neither did I. So what's with the goose? I don't know. I honestly thought it was one of your two pranks.
But Tauntaun, you might want to give yourself eyes again to see this.
He wears sunglasses. You can't see his eyes anymore.
Tauntaun points out your skeleton being rearranged.
Tauntaun's just going, well, he would let out a sigh, but instead he's just going to...
We just see the slumping of the shoulders instead.
According to this, Eldritch Blast is still a go! Fuck the duck!
Bang.
Alright. So, as this time as you fire the Eldritch Blast, the first one seems to ricochet off the goose's back and zoom straight into the ceiling.
Oh god.
The other one do anything?
The second one also hits the goose and bounces into a pillar.
Wow, okay.
The goose will then raise its head and look over before you all hear it go, "Ark!" And I need a charisma saving throw from all of you.
What the fuck?
Oh boy.
Oh my god, no.
Well,
Well,
it's a good thing charisma is my high one, so Thorgrim got a nat one.
well,
Do remember you also get a +4 for being close to Hubert.
Okay, so
Oh.
mine's a 29 then.
that doesn't fucking matter because I still roll the 1.
I rolled a 29 at level 5. Let's fucking go.
Alright. So, anyone who rolled below a 22.
Jesus Christ.
So most of it.
You are all blinded, deafened, and stunned.
Blind,
Holy...
deaf, and dumb.
Whoa, hold up.
Well, thank God for Hubert then.
Jubilee's just like, what are you guys on about?
Meanwhile, Thorgrim is flat on his ass.
So let's see.
Oh, my eyes!
Jubilee made the save. Hubert made the save. Adelsar Day made the save. It said 22, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tauntaun and Thorgrim, you are both blinded, deafened, and stunned.
Fitting it happened to the two people that attacked it.
York,
True.
son.
I've only fed him and pet him. And tried to reason him with him, but I've never attacked the goose.
And after releasing the honk, you all watch as it and runs to a door.
Watching it, does it actually open the door?
You watch as it gets to the door, puts its head to the door, and you hear the door go as it makes its way in, and then you hear the door.
Did it unlock, open, and lock a door with its beak?
No, he just touched it.
Well, I don't know if I would know what the fuck happened to them.
You know that Thorgrim is currently laying on the ground, and Tauntaun looks hella dazed.
Alright, so let me know or not, but would it be metagaming if she knew to cast Lesser Restoration on them?
No.
Okay. She is going to do that, and boy oh boy did I wish I took the meta magic that let me cast spells twice. Yeah.
Twin spell.
Yep. I don't know why I was so stupid. I don't know. I was thinking, it'll probably be not that useful, and now I've needed to use it twice.
Unfortunately,
So-
I have Dispel Magic, but I don't have anything else to help them.
I do have to say, Zoj, you only get to cure their blindness or their deafness.
Okay.
Yeah, pick one.
Blindness for what's the word? Blindness for Tauntaun, blindness for Thorgrim, deafness for Tauntaun. He has
Alright.
no eyes at the moment, so he'll probably be fine.
You don't know that!
Tauntaun, you can hear. Thorgrim, you can see, but you cannot hear.
And you
What?
cannot see.
Also,
What?
I need both of you to roll Constitution saving throws.
What?
Honestly, now we just need a mute, and we're the three monkeys.
Oh my god, really? I rolled 2 consecutive nat ones.
All right.
Ooh.
So, Tauntaun, you you begin hearing, and you notice that your vision slowly is coming back. You shake your head, slap yourself on the cheeks as you manage to shake off the other conditions. With Thorgrim currently going, "What?"
What?
What?
I guess I have a skeleton to go fix.
The goose is affecting Thorgrim's rolls.
Well, despite the shenanigans, Idol Sarday will remain stone-faced as before, and she just heads to the exit.
Is my stunned condition up?
No, you are still stunned. You are both stunned and deafened. But you can see.
So,
Hubert will immediately follow Adelsarday.
Jubilee will turn to Nilo. Hubert, not Hubert. Thorgrim wanted to ask you something, but he's kind of, indisposed right now.
Nilo will then walk over, place a hand on Thorgrim's forehead, and Thorgrim, you feel warm fuzzies all around you as both of your conditions are healed, including your exhaustion.
Ooh. Whoa. Thank you.
High level
welcome.
player shit. King Nilo, why do you let that thing keep running around? Or rather, why does it keep running around here?
I honestly don't know, but it doesn't bother me that much, and like I was telling them, I thought both of them were at fault for it, but apparently they're not, so I don't know what it is.
Would that be more of a concern if you don't think it's one of your friends?
Well, as I said before, it's not really bothering me, it just seems to be pulling childish pranks, so I just kinda let it be.
I don't know what it just did, but
It
ow,
hopped.
that hurt.
And
Everything
you
went
and
black.
Tauntaun went silly. If it makes you feel any better, Tauntaun also went silly too.
I never thought somebody would, or never thought a single creature would be able to make a noise and make me taste purple.
Well,
Purple is a very weird taste, yes.
Tastes weird.
Thorgrim,
It tastes oddly sweet.
while you're doing what you need to do with King Nilo, I will start making that message out to go out. And that Adelsarday will bow to the king and to the other two heroes and make her way out.
Adelsarday will do what?
You heard him.
Jubilee, I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm tired.
Doge, did I give you permission to delete your character?
Yes.
No, I did
Oh.
not.
No, you did not have permission to die.
You do not commit the die unless the DM allows it.
I'm the one who deletes.
Delete.
Anyway,
I am
done.
the one.
you go over to Patterson and you see that his forearms and femurs have been switched around, and two of his ribs are now where his tusks were. But other than that, he looks perfectly functional.
Yeah, I'm going to fix it anyway.
Roll sleight of hand.
I'm not good at the sleight of hand.
We're playing skeleton Jenga.
All right, you just mumble to yourself and you pull the forearm bone out from Patterson's legs, and just immediately.
Oh, you failed. You failed the Jenga game.
But
Um,
it'll take you a couple of minutes, but you do eventually fix him.
I mean, it's probably easier when he's laying down anyways.
Can I ask a favor, Nilo, sir?
What
And
might that be?
Thorgrim gets a little sheepish and does like the whole hands behind the back, scuff the floor thing. Can I use your messaging services again?
And I can let you send a message, but like I said before, they won't be able to reply to you.
I'd like to send a message to somebody in, well, rather two people in Sobania, if that's possible.
Do you have something of this?
I do. And he'll,
Called his blood.
well, he'll hold out his arm and he'll point to a vein and then go, apart from this, I do actually have something. He'll reach into his pocket and he'll pull out, like, let's see, where was it? Where was it? Oh yeah. Actually, it's rather funny. He will take out his old. 'Cause, I would imagine he took the old clothes that were like were the clothes that he had before completely exploded? You know, when he took that crate.
Just the front of it.
Okay, so he would have been able to bundle it up and carry it with him in like tatters.
Yeah.
He'll take it out and he'll hold it out. My daughter made this for me, and I was wondering, could you use this?
He nods and takes it. You see it glow very briefly before he rests his hand on your shoulder and says, "Whatever you have to say, say it now."
Okay. Do I have a certain number of words?
25.
Okay. Hi, Hilda. It's Dad. Just checking in on you. Hope you're well. Make sure to take a break every now and then. Love you. And
Like Nylo said, you won't get a reply, but you feel as if the message landed where it needed to.
that's good. And he'll bow his head in respect. He'll say, "Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I wanted to make sure that my daughter knew I was okay. I'll probably talk to you again and ask you if I can send a message to my son as well. But you know, they live in the same general area, so they can probably inform one another. So
He nods to you as you say this.
okay. And that I think I'll reconvene with the rest of the group. So I will bow again to King Nylo, and I'll say, by your leave, sir, I would like to join my friends. I would assume at the bar.
Don't have to get my permission to leave. He just says, looking at you with a small amount of confusion.
Okay, well, I'll see you later. Call me if you need me.
He nods to this.
And he'll go to Master Ornex and he'll say, so you want another drink, or...
Ha! You're speaking my language.
Technically, he's speaking dwarf.
Honestly, I knew you would, because I think the phrase is we've been around each other too long.
Well, lead the way. Or do you want to race?
Thorgrim just grins. Why not?
Loser buys beer.
Loser buys the other around.
I look forward to you buying my round then.
And he'll just grin, wink, and then just run.
I'm assuming that his master is full monk, which means has full speed and can double down.
Oh yeah, he's gonna kick my ass.
Tauntaun, you see Thorgrim start off, and you see, despite his token not being here, you see Ornyx cross his arms, and it looks like he's mentally counting before he just nods to himself, and then almost faster than you can perceive, zooms out the door.
Yeah, at least he was nice enough to give a head start. Anywho, back to the stupid skeleton that got done in by a stupid duck.
Skeleton Jenga.
But to be fair, you told him to stay, which he did.
That I did. He was a good boy for that. And for that,
Yep.
he's getting skull rubbed.
And like I said, after a few minutes, you get him back to arranged to how he needs to be arranged.
Is he still animated?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
He's looking at you. Nothing. He didn't take any damage or anything.
Okay, Patterson, new rule. If you see that goose again, either stay away from it or just get rid of it.
Oh no.
This could only end well.
You see Patterson continue to stare blankly, but you can tell that he understands the command.
Perfect. Now then, Tauntaun's gonna re-add facial features again and look at Nilo. Which one was the one that knows skeletons really well?
At this, both Nilo and Obi just give you a look that goes, really? While Ale just goes, not me! I do tech stuff.
I have made a wrong assumption before. Let's just say that not all people are as smart as they think they are.
You see Ale lean over to Call and go, do you think he's talking about us? I don't know.
Now then, Nilo. Which one?
The necromancer.
Perfect. How the hell do you train a skeleton?
Well, usually the magic makes it trained.
Okay. I meant more advanced training than go here, do that.
Well, the unfortunate thing is, if you are a novice necromancer, like you are, you
I wouldn't
can't
even call myself a necromancer. I stabbed a corpse and it made me a skeleton.
in that case, if you used an item to do it, you probably can't get it much further than that. He says, pointing to Patterson. See,
Maybe I should go see Devilish Dan, see if he can't find a way to boost that.
See, the thing about it is, that is basic bitch undead. Basic bitch undeads can do what they need to do, but that's the thing. They are basic bitch. They're not meant to be anything more than, say, cannon fodder.
But is there a way to make him not basic?
If it was done with an item, probably not. I could be wrong. It could be a situation of he develops a bit as he goes on, but that's highly unlikely.
How much do you know about magic bullshit dagger?
I mean, I can identify it. I can tell you everything about it.
That would probably be handy. Tauntaun's gonna pull out the dagger.
Are you going to pay me? Obi says to this.
Nilo's gonna look to, or not Nilo, Tauntaun's gonna look to Nilo. I'm currently broke. Can you, please?
No. Nilo says to this.
I am currently broke.
Well, if we get
I
more
spend all
quests,
my money on getting a corpse.
well, if we have more quests tomorrow, I'll be willing to pay you then. But I'm not just going to give you something for nothing.
Well, backup plan. I gotta go make some money. How long are you going to be in town?
It depends on my mood. because I have a wife, a husband, several children that I need to tend to. Next one on my list is my daughter.
Man, what a fucking Chad.
Well, but you're still in town once they get this money.
Yeah.
And
Well,
with that, Tauntaun's going to walk off and go find that one place with the
What
ring.
one? Oh. Alright.
Tauntaun needs money.
So, where is everybody going? And before anybody answers that, I will be right back.
I love how Tauntaun's just, I need money. Well, time to go put the skeleton in the fighting kit again.
I mean, what else is he gonna do?
Honestly, Tauntaun can't even fight.
You can play baseball.
Well, there you go.
He can play baseball. It's just, he's more, I need to kill it before it gets close.
Yeah.
Type.
That's a cast.
Hence the reason he's got hella around. I'm planning to pick up, what's it called? I think there's a meta magic feat and there is a invocation that I wanted to grab. Eldritch Spear, that's what it is. Because with Spell Sniper that becomes 600. If I pick up the distant spell meta magic, I can make that 1200. It's like, ah, yes, this map is less than 1200. I don't think anything's running.
I am still very tired.
Well, I mean, you did do all that work in 5 days, so.
Welcome back.
Hello.
So, like I said, where's everybody going?
I mean, you already know where Tauntaun's going.
I know where Tauntaun's going, but I need to know everybody else.
And I believe you know where Thorgrim and Ornex are going, because they already are probably there.
So, Jubilee and Adelsar Day.
Sarday is actually going to be going back towards the altar.
Alone?
No, with Hubert.
Okay.
So long.
Jubilee's heading back to the inn to start making a message to send to her Solarian contacts.
Alright. So, Tauntaun, roll a D100. Orgrim, are you having a drinking contest? Are you having a drinking contest with Ornex?
Holy fuck.
That is a whole ass 100?
I could probably, yeah. I think I will. Probably pass out, but whatever, who cares?
Exhausted anymore? Let's do this!
I'm totally fine!
Roll 3
I'm totally not strung out on coke!
Roll 3 con saves.
Okay, this is gonna be, since I, have advantage on con saves against poisoning, which I'm assuming alcohol, getting drunk is.
Alcohol does count as a poison, yes.
This will just be straight rolls.
No, remember, your exhaustion's gone, so you have advantage.
With advantage.
Neat.
So you're not off to a good start.
I'm not rolling well. Wow! Holy shit!
Bruh.
Alright, so...
The dichotomy of man.
So, Jubilee, what are you writing? Unless you just want to send that to Discord.
I've got to think about it, because, again, I don't really have a name for that contact. We just described who it was. So I'll start writing it on Discord while other things are happening.
So, while all of that is going on, we will get to how those go in a bit. In the meantime,
I really wish my spacebar right now would cooperate.
we will go to Edosarde and Hubert.
Yeah.
Alright.
And we'll get back to what everybody else is going through in a minute.
Okay. Adol Sarde is going to, like, be fair. Ever since what happened with Thorgrim, she's been, like, stone-faced and oddly quiet. But definitely a little off, at least as far as Hubert would tell, and he could probably tell very quickly.
Hubert will not question it at all, just simply following you.
She just heads to the altar and rests her hands upon it slowly. And lets out a very, very heavy sigh.
What is it, my lady?
Hearing Thorgrim's story definitely reminded me of some things that I thought I had moved past.
In my experience, one does not simply move past things fairly easily.
No. Even though I accept it as what's happened, And even though I attempt to make up for it, it's still... And she just sighs and lowers her head.
What is it, my lady? What seems to be bothering you?
It's been a while since I've heard what it's like to be on the other side of that. And the guilt just came rushing back to me again.
I see.
Yes.
I am sorry to hear that, my lady.
It's fine. I guess that's the price to pay. Nonetheless, we can't allow this to happen to anyone else again.
I agree.
You were quiet during what he said as well. What was on your mind?
Nothing, my lady.
I'd like to roll an insight check on that.
Alright. Seems to be telling the truth. Nothing was on his mind at the time.
She just nods. Alright. Then she just, like, turns and sits on the altar and slowly covers her face. I don't think we're... I know I'm trying to make up for it, but I don't even know if redemption is even worth it.
I cannot say one way or the other, my lady.
I know. I guess I just need to keep trying so that nobody has to have stories like that again.
He nods to this.
You especially, Hubert.
What about me?
His story somewhat reminded me of you.
Why is that?
A grave injustice done outside of your control. You might not see it as that, but I definitely do.
I am not bothered.
Yeah. That's why you're stronger than I am.
I simply do not see the point. And aside from that, the actions of my mother did lead me to where I am today.
I guess that's true. If what happened didn't happen, neither of us would be here today. I guess we can take comfort in that even mistakes lead to good things.
Of course.
I do hope that in the end, at least one of the people on this country listens to my offer. If what has happened with Thorgrim happened to other people as well, and if the puppeteer and whoever he works for plan on doing what I think they're going to do, if this place even survives that and they end up dealing with what's to come, that would be tragic.
I agree. However, if the heroes are as strong as the legends perceive them to be, I still do not believe it would be very wise to attack this continent, even if it was in shambles.
Well, every country and every kingdom has its heroes, doesn't it?
I would assume so, but I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, I've met a few. We've met a few. But we saw what happened to them. I don't doubt that the heroes here are definitely worth the legends about them. But you know how destiny tends to work.
I actually do not. It is not my place to question destiny or anything about that.
Fair enough. Hubert,
Yes, my lady.
can I have a hug?
I see no reason why not.
She opens her arms a little.
He looks down as you are much lower than him before stepping forward and kneeling down to hug you.
Suddenly, while Jubilee's writing her note, her shipping senses are tingling.
Edo, who's currently laying at the foot of the bed watching you write, just sees you perk up and tilts his head.
My fanfiction's canon.
Oh, sorry, Edo. Just had a sensation of something.
I could hear like thousands of fangirls are crying in the distance. But
1,000 fanfic writers screamed out in joy.
after a few, like half a minute, she lets go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright. And she stands and, like, takes a few breaths before she's able to get back into her typical stoic self. Okay. Let's go back. There were some things that I needed to do. Hopefully, King Nilo is still around. Well, still around and willing to speak with me. I'm hoping to ask him for help with something.
He nods.
Alright.
And as you both make it halfway across the bridge, I have to go and tell everybody what's happening to them in the city.
The city.
Go down in the city.
When the lights are down in the city, Tauntaun gets to pay.
Need to work the corner again?
No.
Alright,
Like gambling.
Thorgrim, you find that you are actually managing to beat Ornyx in your drinking contest. Despite the fact that you don't feel like you were doing that great, you can see that Ornyx is beginning to slow as he grunts to himself and says, "It's been too long since I've done this," and proceeds to continue drinking. So it seems that you have the upper hand at present moment.
Excellent.
Let's see. As for... if you want to continue your drinking contest, I will need 3 more saves.
Excellent. I will inspiration that I'm assuming. What?
Okay.
Sorry.
DM Inspiration just gives you advantage on 1 roll. Any
Oh.
roll you decide, and the moment you use it, it's gone. But
Oh.
you get to keep it until you use it.
Oh, okay.
Save it for an important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's advantage on any roll.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
okay.
It's not my kind of inspiration.
The fact that I get to keep it until I can use it makes me want to keep it.
Yeah, like, you can only ever have 1 at a time by technical rules, and I may bend this rule occasionally as I see fit, but I never give more than 2 at once, but you can only have 1, and it just gives you advantage on any roll you decide.
Okay.
And 1 more.
Ooh.
I think that's the one.
But you already have advantage, because you're
Oh.
a dwarf. Remember?
Right.
Yeah, you're
right.
cool.
I forgot alcohol counts as poison.
Alright,
A lot of
so,
things count as poison.
as
Let's get through that
for
once we can't fail alcohol.
Tauntaun,
Tauntaun rolled an entire 100.
I need to know how much you placed on your first fight.
On the first fight, we'll place half my money is currently 6 gold.
You're a poor
Alright.
motherfucker.
So you need to multiply it by 8
So 6 times 8.
plus 2.
48, so that's 50. Okay, boom.
Whoops.
Yeah, you won 48 gold.
I won 48 gold, and the plus 2 was from what?
You just 2 extra gold, so you won a total of 50.
Okay.
I already said that.
So 50,
If you-
46, that was there, that's 56.
If you want Patterson to continue fighting, you'll need another D100.
What's your luck?
84.
Wow.
Alright. Jubilee, as you finish writing your letter, Edo is still laying at the foot of the bed, just kind of watching you as he perks up and goes, "This and that."
I didn't hear what you said. What?
Edo's asking if you want him to send the letter.
That would be much appreciated, but it's a long ways away.
Well, I actually have a means of getting letters places very quickly. Luckily, the dragons, they actually developed a means of transporting messages very rapidly, and I think you'll actually find it rather cute.
Oh. And what will this cost me? Edo?
I'm sure we can figure something out.
Do you take advance payments?
Only if you'll let me explore.
Explore away, brave soldier.
Alright, roll performance.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I can just feel the cringe coming from Zoe that whole time. I live for this.
Why must you do this?
Because you act like that.
So, okay. Bad.
I mean, it's still a 15.
Yeah, not my best work, but...
To be fair, you did just have an entire set of stories told to you, so...
Yeah. Are we gonna know what he rolled?
Rolled a 22.
He's definitely doing a lot of the work here.
Bruh.
Typical woman.
I mean,
lay there
that's
and
what
take it.
happened. That's what happens when you got 6 dicks.
Now
I mean,
then,
you keep saying that part, so you're just as bad.
back to
the wholesome.
Back to Adelsar Day and Hubert.
Oh yeah, that is a below average roll. Oh god.
Yep. It's a 7
That's
on the
terrifying.
And that's not even my best stat.
That's
Bars,
using
man.
your charisma though. Which is your best stat.
My persuasion is a plus 11.
Yeah.
So, Adelsar Day, as you and Hubert make it about halfway across the bridge, you notice a faint light go off behind you before you see a green light speeding towards you both, as you see Hubert's leg buckle from an impact as you see blood splatter across the bridge.
She stares down at Hubert, her eyes widening before she turns to look behind her.
Am I allowed to teleport in and Falcon Punch him, please?
Nope.
Lol.
Damn it.
Falcon! Pun!
Hello, Adelsar Day. A pleasure to meet you again. And as he says this, when you look down at Hubert, you actually see what looks like green chains binding Hubert to the bridge.
You again. And she, draws her rapier. Let him go.
He is merely slowed. He is not bound, because I'm here to play a game.
No. And she points her rapier at him. I know your game. You're not playing it with him.
You say that like I was giving you a choice.
If you so much as touch him,
What? What are you going to do? You couldn't stop your mother from hurting all of those people. And as he says this, you watch him place a hand, his right hand, to the palm of his left, before, as he continues talking, you watch him slowly pull away as you see shadows forming in his right hand. You couldn't stop your sister from leaving. And he draws the blade, a shadowy blade in its entirety, before he says, "And you will not stop me from killing Hubert."
why are you doing this?
Because Hubert will make a fine addition to my collection.
She looks to Hubert and frowns. Why not me?
Because you are weak. And your misery will be a wonderful buffet.
I am strong enough. And she steps forward in front of Hubert.
My lady, you should not be the one in the forefront.
she like glances back at Huber and then at the puppeteer again. If you're going to, I am not going to be toyed with. I am Lady Edil Sade of the Drow Empire, heir to the throne. If you are going to be harming Hubert, you are going to have to get through me. That's some very menacing humming right there. Like when the DM starts humming like that, you know you fucked.
Alright. You hear him chuckle as you say this, as he goes, "Very well," before raising his left hand, and he snaps. I need a charisma saving throw.
Oh no.
Okay, charisma, don't fail me now. Yeah. Hold on. There we go. Oof.
Oof. Another below average roll. Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for you to fail that one, so I gotta go and get a token. Give me just a minute, guys.
Oh no.
Well, this is not good.
Hey DM, buddy,
What
pal,
up?
friend.
What?
Stop adding more trauma to my backstory, please.
What do you mean? I don't know what
This
you're
isn't
talking
going
about.
in the backstory, this is going in the now story.
No.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's fine.
Cause everything is awesome.
There is no war on boxing today.
It's not doing the thing I want it to do. There we go.
There is no Adol Sarday. There is only Zool.
Bruh.
So, you see him snap his fingers, and you hear the birds chirping. You hear the river babbling below you, and as soon as you hear the snap, you appear here.
Yep, I was afraid of that.
Fuck,
Oh, God,
I
what is
know
this?
this place. This
No,
is
no,
gonna
no, no,
suck.
no.
This is gonna suck.
Is this a Tupperware container?
Might as
No.
well be.
No. This is
I-
much worse.
I know this place.
I know this place too. This is gonna fucking suck.
A magical Tupperware container.
Like, image-wise, it just looks like a Tupperware container.
Okay. I guess to... Actually, should I tell them, Jor?
Tell them what.
What
I'm
this...
I'm currently doing rolls, so do as you see fit.
Okay. To explain, in the last campaign, there was stuff involving the altars. Before the party figured out how to use them, the altars would take them to places similar to this. Whenever that happened, things were never good.
This gives me like a purgatory vibe.
Kinda. It ain't fun.
So, you're telling me the altars used to work like Nightwalker's teleportation, but slow.
Sort of.
Because Nightwalker just kind of teleported, but he went into a different dimension. And generally shit tried to kill him.
sounds strangely appropriate.
Yeah, that bamf from one spot to another wasn't as really nice as people thought it was. Granted, I guess that's what happens when you're part demon.
I mean, it was probably nice because they didn't see what happened in the middle.
Well, yeah, no, he bamfed fast enough where he didn't actually know he went there until I think it was the beast put on a device that slowed down his teleportation speed a little, and then he just kind of saw in there, and then they had a bunch of demons from in there come out.
Good old Hank McCoy.
So, Edelsuge,
Yep.
what do you do?
She's going to look around. And, like, try to figure out where the hell she is.
Roll an Arcana.
Okay.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Oh, fuck.
You have no idea what this is.
Roll20 is really sucking with the rolls today. Jesus.
Puppeteer, what is this?
You get no answer.
Hubert?
No answer.
She will begin, like, walking around, trying to find a way out.
As you walk, you meet an invisible force, almost as if there's a wall.
She'll press her hand against it and try to, like, push.
You do not feel it move. It is very firm.
She will then, like, head towards the center of the area.
You look around, you can't see a wall, a ceiling, or even the floor.
What is this supposed to be? Let's see. Do I even have any spells that could get me out of this? Nope. No, I don't. Seems like she's trapped in some sort of pocket dimension or something. Either that or this is some sort of illusion. Okay, she is going to cast a firebolt on the invisible wall and see what happens.
Alright. You fire it, and you watch the flames shoot through the air, burning at nothing as it hits the wall, and you see the fires dissipate, but no damage is currently seen.
She'll head over with her silver rapier and stab at it.
You press your blade, the point against the wall repeatedly, and you don't hear it meeting anything, but you keep meeting the resistance, and once again, you see no damage.
Fuck, I don't know what to do. So, everything's just staying the same now?
Yep.
She will head over to the center and looks around, but then sheaths her sword and just goes down onto her knees in like a sitting position and shuts her eyes, trying to steady herself.
After what feels like an eternity, but only about a minute long, you begin feeling the room distort and wobble and shift. And almost as suddenly as you appeared, you reappear back on the bridge in the same spot you were standing previously.
Yep.
She opens her eyes and slowly looks around.
Roll perception.
Okay. Nope.
Oh, these fucking rolls today. Jeez.
You see a lot of blood on the bridge, but from where you're standing, you see nothing else.
She stares at it before looking, like seeing if it leads back to the altar, or if the blood leads anywhere.
It leads the opposite direction. It goes this way.
She will follow it.
Roll survival.
Oh boy.
So,
I think this is gonna be a tragedy of errors right here. Yep.
As you round the corner, you see, behind a rock, Hubert.
She will quickly rush over. Hubert?
He hears, as you move toward him, instantly he raises the short sword towards you. It doesn't seem that he's lifting his head, though. His head's drooped down. You see him coated in blood as he continues holding the sword towards you.
She pauses. Hubert?
My lady.
What happened?
And you see him slowly lower the sword as he continues panting and just says, "You disappeared." He
He
taunted.
got...
We battled. He said if I could last a minute, you would return.
It looks like he lasted.
She goes over and, like, looks him over to see just what the damage is.
You see a lot of blood pooling out of his ears, and you see some physical trauma on him. His clothing is soaked, but it doesn't seem life-threatening.
Well, healing time. If my thing friggin' works. Roll20 is loading my sheets slowly. How annoying. But I think I remember what it was. Here it is. Cure wounds. Bingo. She is going to cast it with a 3rd level slot, so that will be 3d8. Is it 3? Yes, 3d8 plus 3d8 plus 3. 16. Not bad.
You place your hands on him, and you see your gloves instantly soak crimson, but you do know his bleeding is slowing.
Okay. And then she, like, grabs his arm and begins to, like, support him under her weight. Okay. We're getting back to the city.
You shouldn't have wasted your magic on me.
It's not a waste if it's on you.
I disagree.
You disagree with me a lot.
Because you always speak nonsense, he says, and slowly begins standing up.
She, like, holds as much of his weight as she can.
You see, as you try this, he goes out of his way to ensure that none of his weight goes on you.
Bruh.
Just buckle one of his legs.
Nah.
It'll force him to lean on you. Or he'll sprawl on top of you, one of the two.
Come on. I don't know how much longer you can last like this.
I'm fine.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Don't lie to me.
I am not lying. If I am not dead, I am fine.
We'll have this discussion later. And she will, try and lead him back out of the forest.
He will, of course, follow, but in doing so, he still refuses to let you carry his weight.
Actually, instead of going back all the way back to the city, she's gonna head to the pig farm since that's closer.
Well, as I said previously, those buildings were on fire whenever you guys saw it.
Oh yeah, I doubt that place is recovered. Okay, back to the city.
Alright. So, back in the city. Thorgrim,
Yes.
you notice that your master has gotten a bit better in his drinking, and he seems to be keeping pace with you now, as due to some reason or another, he was a slow starter, but he's doing great now.
He's a
Great.
late bloomer.
Fantastic.
He had to get into the swing of things again.
Once finishing his latest glass, he'll slam it down, look at Master Ornex, and say, "You ready to keep? You want to keep going, old man, or should we call it quits here?"
There are easier ways to lose a battle. Begging for forgiveness is not going to help you.
Fine, drink. 3 more.
Yep.
Damn it.
Remember, you have advantage.
Yeah, but still 12. 12, 18, and aha!
Alright. Danton. Danton?
Hold on. Yeah.
What are
Whatever
we
you,
doing?
whatever you bet on your skeleton, you earn 3 times back.
Awesome. Calculator. 28 times 3. 84 fucking gold. Fuck!
We already know what Jubilee's doing.
I am finally in the triple digits again, everyone. This is a very lucrative side business I've got going on.
Alright. So, we don't need to jump to Adelstar Day, as it's going to take them a while to get back into the city. So as the sun begins setting on the horizon, Thorgrim, you continue your drinking, and you start off slow with the last batches, and you try and shake it off, only for you to still feel the effects very firmly, before you just take a deep breath and just, with the last bit of reserves you have, continue drinking, and finally, Ornex goes, Fine, you win. Jeez.
Slams the mug down, and there's a big old grin on his face, and he'll say, "That's right, I win. Finally."
Is it everything you ever dreamed of?
He'll stop. And he'll just think about that for a moment and go, "You know what? Not really, actually, now that I think about it. Because, after all, you have been saying everything in moderation. So, maybe it's not the victory I thought it was."
Well, at least you know when to stop.
Do you need help being taken to wherever you're planning on staying?
You watch as he clasps his hand together before he inhales deeply, and you see him glow, and you recognize the flow of ki before he stands up completely sober and says, I'll probably go sleep outside.
At least, are you gonna at least stay near where I'm staying? Because, I mean, where are you gonna go? Or are you planning on staying here for a while?
Well, I guess I'll stay in the city for a while. After all, sprinting here was a bit of an ordeal. But I don't particularly like sleeping in inns or houses. I like being able to look up at the sky. So, I'll probably just go and sleep in a field or a farm or some of those rocks that I saw on my way in.
I actually have a suggestion. If you want to sleep in that clearing that we trained in, it's a very nice place.
I'll think about it.
Okay. Me, however, I think I'm gonna enjoy the comfort of a nice, warm bed because it's been a long couple of days, and I really need to get some sleep. He'll stand up out of his chair and he'll once again offer a deep bow to his master.
He smiles to this before just gently bumping his fist against your shoulder and just says, go sleep. You had a long night ahead of you. You had a long night last night.
I will stand and I'll put my hands on his elbows and I'll offer him a warm smile and I'll say, I'll do that. Thank you, Master. Shall I meet here tomorrow?
Of course.
As you wish. He'll back away, bow once more, and return to his lodgings for a very long and very peaceful rest. At long last.
Alright. Tauntaun, you have time for one more fight if you want to.
As usual, we are betting half my gold.
Alright.
Roll to 60. Best.
So, this fight, you see Patterson have a bit more trouble, but eventually he does inevitably win, and you are given double what you bet.
Okay, so bet 56 because half of 112 is 56.
You get 112. You literally just said the number.
You
No,
dumbass.
I have to do more math than just that, and most of my numpad is broken right
Okay, 112 plus 56. Seriously? 168.
now. Shh. Getting there, alright? I'm no mathematician.
A first grader can figure this out.
First graders are mathematicians, apparently! Get on my ass!
Yeah, sir. How are you the elf in this relationship?
No one said elves were smart.
So, Thorgrim, you head to bed. Tauntaun, where do you head after your last fight?
Well, I doubt any smithies are open. So I guess back to the inn.
Alright. So you're heading to sleep for the night?
Mm-hmm.
Righty. So, Adelsar Day, you end up reaching the city. Hubert is not walking as if he's pained at all. and by his request, he has to take a short stop near a body of water, namely the ocean, so that he could wash his clothes.
Yep, she'd let him do that.
Alright, so
Though she probably, do prefer a river rather than the ocean, because I think salt water in an open wound wouldn't go very well.
salt water in an open wound actually helps clean the wound.
It
It
does?
hurts like a mofo.
It does.
but
It
works.
do. Salt.
That's what,
Huh.
It dries out all bacteria.
it's what
I thought I thought salt in wounds, since it hurts, it means it's bad.
no,
I mean,
it-
that
No,
hurt.
that's
That's
like
bad.
saying, what's that one thing with the
Peroxide.
bubble? Yeah, that's the one. That
Peroxide.
can hurt like a bitch, but it's actually good for
It does.
we
I
have
was saying with rubbing alcohol it hurts, but it cleans.
we have
Fair
in our living facility we have several little pink bottles of what is essentially salt water known as saline, and it's used to clean wounds.
Huh, okay. Yeah, ocean. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay, yeah, she'll take him to the ocean.
You see him wash off his clothes, and he seems more focused on cleaning his clothing rather than cleaning any of his wounds. And once he's done, he comes back out. And it doesn't even seem like he reacted to the pain.
Are you still injured or wounded?
Oh no, is he undead?
I am still fine.
She looks to him, and then sits down on a nearby rock, and she is very visibly shaken.
Are you alright, my lady?
No.
Why not?
I guess now I finally understand what it's like to be on the other side.
Whatever do you mean?
I felt helpless and powerless. You could have died. And I was not able to do anything.
But I am alive.
Yeah, but that's because of your own strength. I don't know how you survived that minute against that madman.
Not very well. As I said previously, he is very strong.
And she just lowers her head even more.
But, as I also said, I'm alive. There's no use in crying over something that could have happened when it did not.
I guess. But if he does it again,
And I will have to survive again.
I guess you're right. Focusing on hypotheticals isn't going to help anyone. One minute. Was that what he was going to do to me?
What do you mean?
If I wasn't trapped in there, was he going to make me go through that instead of you?
Oh, I wish to be perfectly frank with you. He was trying to kill me the entire time.
I guess it's a good thing you survived then.
If the situation were reversed, I feel you would have actually perished.
I agree.
My weapons did nothing against him. Were it not for my ability to channel magic through them, I don't actually think I would have been able to hurt him at all.
She pauses and then slowly, raises her head to look at you. And really?
He nods to this.
That's interesting. She then, sighs and gets to her feet. What time is it?
I'm uncertain. I know the sun set a couple of hours ago.
Guess it's late.
Yes, what was your first inclination? The moon?
We should probably head back then.
He nods to this.
Try to get some rest, okay?
I always do.
Yeah. She still seems even though she's trying to steady herself, she definitely still seems not like her typical regal self. It's clear that she has been affected. But she will head back to the city.
I say once again, my lady, you should not be as bothered as you are.
I almost lost you.
But you didn't. And that
The
should
fact that I didn't is a comfort, yes.
And that should be what you focus on, rather than the what if.
Yes.
Because you can focus on the what ifs all you want to, and if you do, you will be distracted from what actually happened. What happened? I survived. What ifs be damned, because there's also a what if of what if I had beaten him. But you're not taking that one into account.
That's a good point.
So, as I said previously, you need to focus on what did happen. What did happen is I survived.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, you rolled 4 ones. How does that feel?
I mean,
The other rolled with an 8.
considering those were Hubert's rolls, it feels fine by me.
Thanks, Thorgrim.
You're welcome.
Alright. Ilisarde nods slowly. Yes, I have a lot to think about.
I'm sure you do.
Well, let's go. And she heads back to the city.
So he'll lead you to your room, nods as he usually does, and proceeds to head toward his.
Ayla will watch him go before shutting the door, getting ready to sleep, but feels that she can't, so instead meditates.
Alright,
Like-
so Hubert makes his way toward his room. He opens the door and falls upon the sight of Jubilee.
Oh no. Oh no.
Jubilee, you and Edo both look toward the door. You see Hubert standing there. He has a very tired look in his eye before he takes one step into the room, shuts the door behind him, nods, and then goes into his bed where he proceeds to lay down with his back to you. And he did not react to a single thing he saw.
Just awkward silence.
Uh-oh.
I mean, at least they were nice enough to stop fucking. Pon would have no shame.
I don't know how to proceed with this.
Well, there's three things. We stop and leave, or we keep going.
I think the
There's
polite
also
thing
the
to
fourth
do
option.
would be...
Stop, leave, go somewhere else, continue.
Thinking it's hard to tell, but I think he's just had a long day, so I'm just gonna... Let's go.
Edo nods as he scoops up his clothing and very quickly gets dressed.
Jubilee will do the same.
And after that, he will lead you back to his room.
That's, not my brightest moment, I'll admit.
Well, I mean, it didn't bother me that much. It was just a bit shocking, I suppose.
I guess it didn't really bother me too much, but I was worried about bothering him, if that makes sense.
Doesn't really seem like anything bothers him at this point.
It just seemed like the right thing to do, I think. It's hard to really get a read on him.
Yeah. So, you want to pick up where we left off?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, Adelsar Day.
Where are you?
After your meditation, 4 hours later, you actually awaken long before the sun comes up. What do you do?
She will head downstairs.
You head downstairs.
Well, after getting ready and, everything like that.
You head downstairs, and you see Hubert in his usual spot with a fire next to him as he is very quietly reading a book.
What's the book? And she heads over.
He looks up to you and just goes, I'm surprised you're awake.
I couldn't sleep. Meditated.
It is just it's a very odd book. Talks of a world where technology was founded instead of magic. Has strange little... not sure what to call them other than tablets that you can send messages on willy-nilly. It's a very odd read.
The telephone.
Sounds a bit boring.
Well, it depends. Apparently, in this book, the author thought of metal birds that could just fly through the air. I find
Like to call?
Beg pardon?
Like to call? Ael's dragon?
Something akin to that, yes. Except it doesn't require to flap its wings or anything along those lines. As said, it is a very odd read.
She exhales and, sits opposite him.
So what is the plan for today?
When everyone awakens, we will tell them what happened yesterday. But before that, I need you to tell me what the fight was. You're right in that I need to focus on what happened instead of the hypotheticals. You survived, and not only did you survive, you managed to harm him from what you're telling me.
A little bit, yes.
But if you survived, that means you know at least something of what he's capable of. You say he was trying to kill you instead of toying with you like I had first assumed. So that means we at least a little bit aware of his fighting style and some of the things that he is capable of.
The unfortunate thing is, I do not think it would be a wise idea to tell the group as to what happened. At least not how closely he came to killing me.
Right. Well, tell me then.
He used very powerful magic. And, as I said, my weapons could not actually harm him, which made things difficult. But my magic could. Other than that, he has two different means of fighting. He is well versed in both martial and melee, while at the same time firing the same sort of beams that Tauntaun is able to fire. And he swaps between these styles as he sees fit. He can also do something akin to Jubilee. You know when Jubilee gets hit and the fires appear around her enemy.
I see. So he's resistant to all sorts of attacks except for magical.
I would
He
not
uses-
say resistant. I would say
Not resistant?
I would say he is immune.
Immune.
As I said previously, I was not hurting him with my weapons. The only thing that caused any damage was my magic.
I wonder if silver would have had an effect on him. He could be a were creature.
I am uncertain, but as I stated previously, I do not think we should explain at least how close I came to my death. After all, were that to happen, Thorgrim may not actually enjoy the news that much.
That's a fair point. We need to use tact. But how?
We will think of that later.
The fact that he is immune to all attacks except magical limits what he might actually be. But this is not a subject that I am familiar with.
Nor I, my lady.
I wonder if there's a library in this city. I might be able to look it up.
I'm certain there's at least one. As for where it is, that is something that I do not know.
Well, it's early in the morning. I guess we can put that on the agenda. Well, what happened yesterday also proved something to me. What I needed to go to Nilo for, definitely need to do so. We also need to buy a diamond. Though, I only have 400 gold. I'm unsure if that would be enough for one.
I have 50 if that helps.
Maybe I can barter it down to that much. We will have to hope.
We could always use magic and charm him. Or her.
That would be...
Or it.
She pauses as she thinks for the right word. I'm unsure if I am comfortable with that.
I did not say.
Bartering with words is one thing, but using magic to alter one's mind is another.
I was simply saying that it is a possibility.
Fair enough. When do you think the shops will open?
I've come to find out they do not open until the sun rises, so we have about an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. I guess we can just rest here until that time comes.
He nods.
Have a spare book?
He will open his backpack before offering you one.
She will take it.
Alright, Tauntaun, you wake up next.
How's Patterson looking?
As you wake up, you see Patterson standing right by your bed, staring down at you.
We need to get you a belt.
Patterson does not reply.
Tauntaun's just going to reach up, pat the schoolboy, then sit up, and go to see if Gio made breakfast.
Geo did. You see, as you come out, the sun is up by this point. You see Geo currently cooking. You see Jack eating, and the other one, number 3, that I don't remember. I'm gonna call him Dave until I remember his name.
Which one's number 3? The redhead?
No, that's Jack.
Then we
Julian. There we go.
Yes, that one, Julian. Jack, Julian, and Gio.
The other 2 are eating. As you sit down at the table, Gio will serve you.
What do you make again?
Let's roll these D100s. You made an omelet. As you eat it, it tastes like it has sausage and bacon and cheese in it.
Mm-hmm.
Tauntaun's just gonna happily eat.
Alright. Let's see. Jubilee. As the sunlight comes through the shades in Edo's room, Edo's currently snuggled up to you the best that a small creature can snuggle up to a medium-sized creature, groaning at the sunlight. Oh, Chaos is muted, so he is not here. It means Thorgrim, despite the fact
I forgot to unmute.
Oh, okay. There you are.
Making offhand comments, it's like, okay, I guess everyone's ignoring me.
No, you were muted, so we didn't actually
What
hear
offhand comment?
Just nothing of significance.
Say that, but offhand comments always have significance too.
Like
with the omelet in the Thorgrim in the distance. Big head.
Oh.
Oh my god.
But yeah, like I said, sunlight's coming through, and Edo's just.
Jubilee looks up and just, a few more minutes, and just kind of cuddles him to block the sun. Or
He nuzzles in to your chest and just says, "We should really put a blanket over the window."
yeah. Well, you should. It is your window.
Too short.
Ask me, silly.
I will later. Too comfy.
Unfortunately, I can't. I wish I could, but I can't stay here forever. My friends probably need me for something.
I know.
Plus, eventually, I gotta perform again at the tavern.
Oh yeah. You could do it tonight if you don't go anywhere.
That's true. I think I shall. Or if there are no plans. I should really check in with the friends, though.
I would offer some assistance, but I don't think anybody wants to see kobolds helping you dance.
Quite alright. Speaking of which, you really should check in on your boys. You are their commander, after all.
Oh, they're doing fine. In fact, this morning they wanted to go fishing. Which he then looks at the window. Which I think I'm supposed to meet them in about an hour.
You should get ready.
I know.
Kisses his forehead.
We're gonna go try and find a shark.
Don't hurt yourself. She gets up.
He gets up as well.
Just kind of stretches in the light.
He watches you the entire time, not even pretending that he's not.
What floor is their room on?
She's not in front of the window.
Okay.
I
How
said
do
in
you
the
know?
light, not in front of the window. There's a difference.
Tauntaun would do it in front of the window.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Tauntaun.
because Tauntaun has
Tauntaun's
some shit.
also very slutty.
Yeah, that's fair. There's almost nothing Tauntaun won't do.
Jubilee, on the other hand, is only slutty toward those she likes.
Hey. Shut up.
Alright, so, Thorgrim. You are waking
Yep.
up now.
Thorgrim will very slowly blink his eyes open, and it's like that first-person view of like just the eyes slowly opening to, the foot of the bed and everything. And he waits for a
technically
second,
everything is first-person view.
and then he waits for a second, and then in one swift motion pushes the sheets off of him and kips up out of the bed, and he's just like, "Huh!" And he does his morning stretches, twist the hips, bend the knees, stretch the legs out, stretch the arms out, and he will walk over, grab himself a smaller drink of his dwarven rum than before, not like a big old swig like he would usually. And once he finishes that, he will look towards Smasher, and he will walk over to the hammer, pick it up, and he'll examine it. And he's going to do something a little strange that he hasn't done before. He'll grab both sides of the hammer, hold it lengthwise, and close his eyes. And since I don't actually have to spend a key point for this, he is going to make Smasher his dedicated weapon.
I mean, okay.
Just because it's more for flavor's sake.
Yeah.
And he'll impart a little bit of his spiritual energy through the weapon, and it'll glow a light blue. And then
Yes.
he'll,
Monk weapon.
and then he'll hoist it over his shoulder, and he'll
Alrighty.
head down the stairs.
So, where's everybody going?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna go to the normal meetup spot after having maybe 3 plates.
Alright.
And then getting some takeout to bring to everyone else.
I'm wondering if I should go to the meetup spot or not. Yeah, probably a good idea.
I mean, that is our meetup spot.
Yep, Adol will also go to the meetup spot.
Thorgrim.
He will also head to the bar because that's their spot.
And Jubilee. Once again, you're muted. If you're there.
To the hangout for the 5th time.
Stop muting yourself.
Never.
So, you all mingle your way there. Adelstar Day and Hubert will arrive around the same time that Thorgrim does, with Jubilee bringing up the rear. Netto waves Jubilee goodbye after walking her here before quickly scurrying away. And then after that, Tauntaun will show up with his boy band, with Tauntaun packing food for everybody.
I'm going to force everyone to take a food.
Hubert does not argue.
Yeah, neither does Adol Sarday.
I was saying force mostly because Hubert, but apparently he's not going to argue this time. Alright.
I'll gladly accept some.
Geo made it, not me.
Okay, guys, it's safe.
I wouldn't poison you!
On purpose.
Intentionally.
Not even accidentally! At most, you'd have to worry about getting the munchies later.
We lost
And there
Thorgrim.
it is.
And even then, if I were to do that, it'd be in brownie form.
In
I'm a better
any case,
baker than I am a cook.
What are we doing today, guys?
But I wanted to go back to the ring again.
I planned on doing some research.
On what exactly?
Spells.
Well, I've asked Edo to assist me in delivering the message, so I've sent a message out for my contact in Solaria. We'll see if we can get more information that way.
By the
Are you
way,
expecting the
by the way, Jubilee, whenever Edo helped you, he spawned a pseudo dragon, which looks like a very small cat-sized dragon, which took the letter and zoomed off with it.
Daw.
Yeah, well, Jubilee will keep that detail for now.
Oh, you expect... Are they going to be sending a message back here?
Well, I hope so.
How long do you think that will take?
I don't know. It depends on how quickly this person can get the information. It could
Hello?
be very quick. Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello!
Fucking internet died again.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, as I was saying, it all depends on how quick the information they can get it. Unfortunately, information gathering, and especially in that line of work, it can either be very quick or very slow.
So
Depends
it
on if-
sounds like we're all doing our own thing today?
Well, I'm gonna probably do a performance later to earn a little extra cash.
That'd be handy, yes.
Very well.
I better inform
Actually-
the tavern owner.
Perhaps you can help me, Jubilee.
No?
You seem to be knowledgeable on clothes. I require a diamond. Do you know where I can get one cheaply?
A diamond?
Yes.
DM, did
Yes.
Julie see any jewelers at any point in town?
Roll history.
Oh, wow.
Yes. It was a few blocks
I
down.
know-
It was a few blocks down from Thala's place.
I think I saw a place near the clothing store, actually, a jeweler. I can take you there once I inform the tavern owner of working tonight.
Very well.
Yeah, Jubilee will excuse herself after eating and, head to the counter to talk about working tonight.
Alright. There anything in particular you want to say?
Not really. It was just like making sure there's availability for a show.
Understood.
Unless we want to really roleplay the price negotiations.
Nah.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Anybody else have anything to say?
Quick question for you, Obi. How many days has it been since the hammer polishing that I did at the record shop? That's
2,
not what I
believe.
meant, Chaos. You know it.
It's been 2 since you had your hammer polished.
Okay, so there's a week.
Sorry, every
Big
time
gap.
I hear it, it's just Bender
What the
laugh.
fuck?
My kitty get big.
I'm gonna see if I can. I would imagine Master Ornex is going to be easy to locate. So I would like to.
He's under the table.
Yeah, he just wait till you jump out. Surprise!
No, he's
Surprise,
just sleeping under there.
I'd like
Oh,
to
what?
find Master Ornex again, and I would like to, since there seems to be a downtime today, and we're not planning on doing anything particular, I would like to to see if I could engage in more training with Master Ornex while he's here.
Alright. So you'll need to roll a perception.
Perception pour moi. Perception le black. That's not a very super important roll, so don't think I'm gonna waste my.
I think you see him, but then you hear a honk.
Yeah, I know, right? God damn it!
Not again.
You see Master Ornex in the distance training. You quickly speed over, only to find a goose.
Yeah, I don't believe I find it.
No, but you're certain that if you wait at the bar, eventually he'll show up.
I will go to the bar and wait then, I guess.
Alright.
You are at the bar.
Well, I mean, like, go out, find it, try and find him, fail, go back.
Oh, okay.
Alright,
Anytime.
so
Jubilee will take Edelstart Day.
Jubilee, Edelstart Day, and Hubert.
Roberto.
To the jewelers. The other mine time.
Roberto.
Alright, so Jubilee, with very little issues, you manage to lead Edelstart Day to the jeweler.
While we're walking over there, Hubert, again, sorry about that. I got a little distracted after finishing the letter and having it sent off.
It did not bother me.
Still, it was kind of rude of me.
Once again, I was not very perturbed.
What happened?
I walked in on Jubilee having sex.
Jubilee just covers her face.
Was it the
Why did you
regular
say that
time?
out loud?
She pauses and then just like slowly turns to stare at Jubilee.
What?
She like just stares for a couple more seconds, then goes back to walking.
I'm allowed to have relationships outside this group.
It slowly dawns on you, Jubilee. This means Hubert saw you naked.
That's what she said. Why do you think I'm apologizing? Okay, Jubilee. God damn, I'm getting tired. Edelstart A, what do you want me to do to make you not angry at me? And no lying, you're clearly upset about this.
What are you talking about? I'm not upset at all.
Time to use the bullshit meter.
Bullshitometer.
If you're lying, you need to roll deception.
But she's not lying.
If you are lying, though, you need to roll deception.
I know, which is why I'm not rolling deception.
Then you need to roll persuasion.
You gotta roll
You're making
something.
a roll, motherfucker. Rolling something.
Because at this point, you're trying to persuade her to believe you.
Liar.
Hey, I got better than your insight, so you
I
better
know,
believe
but in
me.
this case, it's a bad thing.
Well,
I'm not, she isn't lying, though.
you're not certain whether she is lying or not. The only thing you can do is take her at face value or not.
Jubilee just squints her eyes at her. On some level, you're upset, and I need to figure
Why
out how
would
to
I
fix
be?
it. Because you want Hubert to see you like that, not me. And then continues on to the jeweler.
She, like, stops short at this, and now she looks annoyed.
So eventually, Jubilee does succeed in leading you to the jewelers.
Here we are.
Alright. You think they'd be willing to sell me a diamond for cheap?
I'm sure that's most of their business.
Well, small diamonds can range anywhere between 25 gold, 50. Depends on what kind of diamond you need. And for what purpose.
A spell.
Yeah, jewelers should probably carry spell material diamonds and have their own sets of prices for them. As well as other precious stones.
So you're a cleric.
Not exactly. But I am able to use some cleric spells.
In that case, you don't necessarily need a diamond at full cost. You just need enough diamonds that meet the cost.
Really?
Yes. I'm very familiar with how clerics work.
Very well.
It's not like the country's led by one.
I plan on using a spell that allows one to bring people to life.
Raise dead.
I think it's called Revivify.
Ah, the low level one.
Indeed.
In that case, you need diamonds to equal 300 gold.
Can we possibly do 250?
Well, the thing is that you need an amount of diamonds equal to 300 gold. I could give you 250 gold and diamonds, but that won't help for your spell.
Yeah.
You need 300 gold worth of diamonds in order to cast that spell and it actually function. You know, to pay off the Reapers.
Fair enough. Very well. 300 gold.
He nods before sliding you a good portion of diamonds.
She will take them. Thank you.
He nods to you.
She then heads out, but looks to Jubilee. Thank you for that.
Oh, not at all. It's been my pleasure.
Now I'm going to go visit King Nilo again. Hopefully he doesn't find my constant visitations to be too annoying, but at this point...
I think at this point he prefers it over his own friends.
I find that strange. I would have figured that the legendary people would be interested in each other's company.
Well, you did see how Nilo was interacting. He did enjoy having his friends around again, but it seems like a little bit too much of a good thing. You know?
I see.
I get the feeling Ale does not plan to leave anytime soon.
God damn it, he won't leave again!
He's found something fun!
Hell, fuck off!
Never!
That's a funny thing too. If Ale does stick around, then most of the old Nilo is just gonna come out. The less dignified Nilo.
Also, he has to worry about if there's any small children.
Ale, you go anywhere near my kids with any of your crazy inventions, I will skin you alive.
They're not crazy. They're simple toys. Hands a lighter
No.
with fireball.
No!
So,
Anywho,
Anton, after placing your bet, you see Patterson win almost by the skin of his teeth. And you are rewarded after betting 30 gold, you receive 40 back.
Ooh. He's not really giving as much, are they?
The odds are going down the more he wins.
I think it's
That's what
saturated
tends to
the market.
Bingo!
What if I were to get Hubert? Try to make money on him. And the rest of the time.
This is what you get for trying to cheat the minigame.
Stop cheating the minigame, I need money!
That's cheating the minigame.
After a while, Thorgrim, eventually, Ornix does show up.
He was
And
never
looks-
really. He was never really one for early rising anyway.
And he looks to you and says, "Surprised you aren't out with your friends."
I think we're agreeing at this point that today we need to take care of our own business. And besides, I know we just did some training, but I'm pretty good to go at this point, and I don't know about you, but I feel like I need a little bit more refinement in my skill. I realize that when I get angry, when I charge towards battle, I tend to utilize any and every kind of strike that I can, and eventually it just evolves into random flailing. And I don't think random flailing is going to get me anywhere when it comes to properly protecting my friends. And if I want to represent your teachings as completely as I can, I want to do so with as much training and as much guidance as I can while you're still available to do so. What I'm saying is I need more training. Just long story short.
I cannot guarantee your growth. At least not in the same way that it happened last time. But I would be more than happy to train you.
I think specifically one thing that I would like to try in our training would be, and he'll hold Smasher lengthways again. He'll show that there is a small hint of key radiating off of it, and he'll look up at Ornix and say, I know it's kind of breaking the rules of martial arts as a whole to use a weapon with our style, but I kind of want to try and incorporate this as best I can, and maybe become more in tune with this weapon and make it as an extension of myself. You know how like a quarterstaff or any other small weapon, I kind of want to do it with this.
I don't know what fucking rulebook you read that said you can't use a weapon like that.
I know, but it's slower and more unwieldy, and
Do you like using it?
I do. It's
And who gives a fuck?
I like this monk.
If it's a weapon you can use, if you can incorporate it into what you do, that should be all that matters.
He'll look down at Smasher and he'll smile. I would like to train more with this, if that's okay.
Then come on.
The usual place then?
Yeah, that's probably best.
Alright. And he'll hoist Smasher over his shoulder and toddle off to the clearing, I guess.
Alright. With that, we can call it a night here, given that it's 10 minutes past the time we usually quit.
Sweet.
Oof.
Sweet.
Oh.
But we could keep going.
We can.
No.
No.